Chat. What's up? What's up? How are y'all? How are y'all? Welcome in. How's everybody? How are y'all? Welcome in, Blossom. How are you? Hold on. Let me change this. Hi. Hi. Hey, everybody. How are y'all? How are y'all? Welcome in. Welcome in. You know the vibes. You know the vibes. Ah. Hey, welcome in. How are you? How was your day or night or, how are y'all? I'm not gonna lie, I was working a little bit on the collab album a little bit. I was like making demos here and there, you know? EP? Oh man, it must be early. Must be 9 a.m. Ah, I remember. See? I remember. Yeah. But yeah, I was working on the collab album. We got 4 signups. That's crazy. We got 4 signups. That's insane. I think there's gonna be a lot of surprises on the audition day for real. But you know, we are still looking for more people, so I'm just trying to, get the word out, pump it up. You know, I had a friend DM me today, and they were like, "Yo, I listened to Bad Day," and I was like, "Really?" And they were like, "Yeah." Then they were like, "Yo, the song is so catchy." I was doing work and humming the melody, and I was like, "Whoa, that's crazy!" Didn't expect that. And then they were like, "Yeah, it's a really good song." Then I was like, "Thanks, man. I tried my best. I tried my best." I don't really, I don't know how to take compliments sometimes, you know. So most of the time, I'm just like, "Oh, thanks." Thank you. I get that. Thank you. I tried my best. I tried my best. So yeah. Oh, also, fun thing, fun thing. I uh I thought about we know, yeah. uh I thought about, since I was doing a little bit of art here and there, I thought about, maybe possibly one day in the future making a webtoon. Little webtoon, one shot webtoon. I've been thinking about that. But that's going to be super hard. That's going to be so hard, bro. So hard. Uh, yeah. Do it. Sheesh. I need to have a story. I need to have story, Blossom. Maybe if you work on it with me, then yeah, that'd be fun. But obviously, I don't want you to work for free. You know, so that's uh, that's gonna be a thing. But it's an idea I have. I have a lot of side quests with love, not for free. Yeah. With love. What do you mean? What do you mean? No, bro. You need to get paid, bro. You need to get paid for your work, bro. I can't do that. That's not good. You need to get paid, bro. But yeah, comics are hard. Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Especially like very stylized ones. Like if I let's say like I want to do it in a manga style, like it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. So yeah, I tried filming a music video earlier today with the model for So I tried filming a music video for Bad Day with this model. I have a few clips, but I will need to figure out how I'm gonna edit everything and animate lyrics and put everything together. And like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I've been trying to do a short every day. Today I didn't edit any, so I'll have to think of something later. But yeah, so today I thought, I could chill with you guys. We can hang out, watch a documentary, have some commentary. Also, I saw this one video, like this independent anime house. They like made an anime movie fully in Blender. In Blender. That is insane, chat. In Blender? That's crazy. Oh man. How? How is that possible? You know what I mean? It must take like a lot of work. Because like it's so stylized as well. Let me see if I can find the name of it. Anime movie made in Blender. Okay, let's see. It should be here somewhere. Na. Anime made. Okay, wait. Let me see. They don't mention the movie though. Until the interview with her specifically was kind of hard to get. Oh wait, what? Indie anime. Okay, I'm confused now. Now I'm confused. Great. You know what? When I find it, I'll send it to you guys. But yeah, hold on. Let me turn off the music. There we go. Yeah, yeah. But that's what's been on my mind today. How are you guys? How was your week? Did you all do anything fun? Are y'all excited for the collab album auditions? Are you guys excited? Wait, let me show you guys a video. Hold on. So, this was the video. I saw Superman. No! I've been waiting to watch Superman, but I don't want to see it in theaters. No, Superman! I had this. That's the funny thing. I wanted to tell you guys the last stream. You know how everybody's like, when you ask people like their favorite superhero, and then you're like, wait, hey! Where's my face? Where's my face? It's like, how dare you say that? How dare you say that, bro? That's not nice. That's not very Superman. That's not very Superman. How dare you say that? Come on, man. Come on, bro. No. Stop. Stop with the bullying. Stop, man. That's messed up. That's messed up. Hold on. That's messed up. Why would you do that? Why would you do that, bro? What the hell? What the hell? What am I reading? What? What is that? Stop doing that. Stop that. Stop it. That's not cool, man. That's not cool, man. Okay, yeah. Now I lost my train of thought. Now I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah. You know how people are like, oh, I'm a Superman. If you ask people what their favorite hero is, it's either, most of the time, it's either Iron Man, Batman, or Spider-Man. Nobody says Superman at that time. You know, this was like a year ago. And then I was like, yo, I'm a Superman person. And my friend was like, for real? I was like, yeah. I mean, when it comes down to the core of it, that's, a lot of things I grew up believing. I still do believe in those things. So I was like, hell yeah. I'm a Superman person. What the hell? There's bugs in my room. Nah, bro, there's bugs in my room. Okay, so
Guys know, hooray!
this
nope. We're
was
getting
the
too ahead of
anime.
ourselves.
Womp womp. What do you mean womp womp? You gotta do the what you did that day.
Already. Okay.
That shit was
let's start with this.
funny.
Do you guys know Tsuyu?
Is this too loud?
God damn it. If you're into Japanese music at all in recent years, Sutomayo, Yoasobi, Eve, Yorushika, Tsuyu, etc., You're probably familiar with their extremely elaborate animated music videos. Indeed, when you don't want to show your face, your best bet is a 2D fictional counterpart. More often than not, these are not made by big-time studios, not
I
Mappa,
did not know that, chat. I did not know that. I thought it was big time studios doing all of this. I didn't know it was the indie guys.
not Ufotable, not KyoAni, but rather, they're made by an independent production, usually made by less than 10 people. Indie anime,
That's crazy. Less than 10 people? Yo.
unlike Western indie animation, they're kinda sporadic by nature. Instead of trying to make 3 full season
This is
series,
nice. I like
Pixie
this.
Pop, they're basically just a collection of short films. A lot more manageable. These are the breeding grounds of innovation. Stuff that one might deem too experimental in commercial work exists
All of
here.
these look amazing so far. All of these look amazing.
I always wanted to cover these, but it's difficult since stealing footage from indie artists feel worse than screen recording love life. The term itself was
Bruh.
coined by Komogiko 2000, animator for Tsutomayo's Hunch Grey, which, fun fact, they solo animated on their iPad. Indie anime is such a fast
I've seen the first episode of this one, Milky Highway. Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. I need to watch this more. It's so good, chat. It's so good. I like this a
fascinating
lot.
scene with so many talented
The
artists.
voice, like they like animated it like with the voice acting and stuff. It's not like it's very natural sounding, you know.
Some of them doing it
Look at that.
commercially, some of them made
Look at
thesis
this.
films,
That's
some just do it for
crazy.
fun. I find it
That's
fascinating. There's
great.
a lot of indie groups out there. Waboko did a lot of MV for the JP song artists and Porter Robinson, the lead animator for Tsutomayo studied
I really want to get an animated music video, chat. I almost went into animation, bro. Bro. Why didn't you, if you don't mind me asking? Why didn't you go into it? If you don't mind me asking. Is it like really time consuming and like is that the reason? But yeah, I really want to get a 2D music video done sometime in the future, you know, like fully animated music video. I like the Sony animation, so maybe like a blend of like, you know, manga panels stuff, you know, like how animated it is in manga and maybe like a blend of like 3D and stuff. Every college I applied to the animation course except one where I applied to illustration. Oh. Okay. Okay. But the one with illustration was my dream school. Ah, I see. I see. Bro, I think whatever decision you made the right choice, man. God damn, you made the right choice. Look at the model. She this is a work of art, man. This model is a work of art. I see it. I'm not even gonna lie. I can see this model next to like really professional VTubers, you know, like the big guys, and still be like, yo, it holds up so well. You know what I mean? It holds up so well. It looks so well done. It's put together. Everything's like the rigging is amazing. Shout out to Charlie. The reason I didn't do animation was it was all 3D and I wanted to go into 2D animation. Bro, I have an opinion about that. I feel like 2D animation is still superior to 3D. Unless it's like a blend of it, you know? I still feel like I like 2D animation more. I'm not gonna lie. I like 2D animation more. I think you can just do more stuff with it, and you can get more creative. And like, it's a different style. It's a different look. Yeah, but it feels more authentic. You know what I mean? It feels more authentic, and I'm sure you feel the same way. You know, like if you had to give me a choice between watching something in 3D and watching something in 2D, I'm gonna choose 2D 90% of the time. I still do animate somewhat sometimes. Really? Can I see one time? Can I see? Can I watch the process? Please. Please, I want to know. I want to learn, bro. I want to see how you do it. I mean, it's okay, TikTok. I still want to know. You know, I still want to watch. I'm not gonna attempt it because I don't think I'm at, you know, that level yet. I still want to try and work on my art. It's simple because I was lazy. Oh, but still though, the fact that you did it, I think that's pretty cool, man. That's the other thing too. Like I've met so many different types of people on Twitch. Like it's kind of surprising. Like I've never met this amount of people in different creative disciplines before in my life. So it's really interesting to like see everybody do their own thing and like how their workflows and stuff. Stop with the twerking, man. Damn. I'm kidding. Keep twerking. Uh, but yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. You know.
Me and Darkin founded Studio Able. How were you supposed to read that? If you're in the Vocaloid scene, you might recognize Otohiro and Studio
Miku.
Gohan. But there's one specific indie studio that caught my eye. Hooray is a team comprised of mostly 3 people. Popurika, the project director, Ohajiki, the animator, and Magotsuki, the character designer.
There we go,
the first
chat.
work of theirs I saw was this music video for
Look at this. This is beautiful.
Eric Riot from the baseball idol series.
Look at
Yes,
that.
That's a thing. Cinderella 9. It looks stunning. I've seen CG anime before.
This is
but not
amazing.
like this. This is unlike anything I've
This
seen
is what I'm talking about, Chad. This is what I'm talking about.
before. But you probably didn't.
This is the
care
type
for
of stuff I
Cinderella
was talking
9.
about.
I certainly didn't. They did a few MVs before this, but relevant to this conversation is their music video for Rain with Cappuccino by Yorushika.
Hey, welcome in, Ice. How are you? Welcome in. Welcome in. How are you, my boy? How was your day?
Right off the bat, you can tell there's
I'm showing Chad some animation stuff. This guy, this indie anime studio made a movie in Blender. Just Blender, a full movie, and it's like a blend between like 3D and like 2D anime. Welcome in, chat. Hey, he's greeting
something
chat.
different about their style. It's in 3D, that much is obvious, but it's not trying to be a Genga.
All
it's
good,
not trying
brother.
to be a
Hey.
manga. It's not even trying to be Genshin Impact. It's a secret fourth thing. To me, this style feels graphic designing.
Blossom got the first. Thank you for the
Look
first.
like an illustration.
Hope you're having a fun time. I am. I'm talking about like animation and stuff and like 2D versus 3D. Forgot to redeem. No worries, no worries. You got it now though. That's all good.
Into a song event flyer or something. This flat vector art-like design with painterly tones throughout the whole piece. I don't think this is a common art style, especially not for 3D. I want to say Enchanted Love by Linear Ring, but that wouldn't come out until a year later. I have decided to refer to the style as lineless anime. Also, I may or may not try to rip off this style for the better part of 2 years. Anyway, now when Madison Strapped in the past brought
Gotta get the rightful bragging rights. That is true.
something
That is
else to the
true.
table. Now, I want you guys to soak this in for a moment.
That
Have
is
you guys
true.
ever saw something even close to this?
Can never have too much bragging rights. You know what I mean? Can never have too much. Can never have too much. I just want to see the point where people are like, "Yo, I got first snow. I got first snow. Damn, damn." You know what I mean? You guys be like fighting in chat. I got first. No, no, it was me. It was me. I got first.
Before. This strict use of color palette.
Look at
how
that,
the blue
Chad. This is what I'm
contrasts with
talking
the
about.
yellow, the dithering effects, the
Wow.
subtle outlines, glass simulation, and sculpted wrinkles
Look at
that puts
that.
Bang Dream CGI to shame.
Hey,
There's
yo.
not much to analyze here. It's just good. The idea is fresh, the execution is perfect, the effects are
see?
breathtaking. Judging by this interview footage, it seems like they have
Bro, in
their own version of
Blender?
Blender 2. I don't know what
Bro.
to say. I think it just speaks for itself. Hooray specific CG style.
I mean, Ice. The only person I know that uses Blender a lot is Ice. So like, I mean, bro, if you
Has
could
this
tell me
resonated
like
with me.
how hard this is gonna be, or like give me a ballpark, cause it looks pretty damn hard. You know what I mean? It looks pretty damn
Since I
hard.
found them, it is now my personal standard. I've been chasing this style in my own work ever since. I don't know, in an era where anime starts to blend in with each other, seeing something genuinely new was amazing. They also did the ED for Shikimori. I don't like the show anymore, but this ED is fun. Also, Yuki Nakashima, yay! So I stalked their every possible social media page, right? I noticed they went radio silent for like 4 to 6 months, give or take. I was wondering what that's all about, until they eventually released a teaser.
Oh my
But at
god,
this point,
chat,
I
check
still
this
don't know what
out.
this is about.
Check
All I
this
know was
out.
for some reason Kagami Nelan and Takamatsu Tomori was gonna be in a movie together. I was looking at it cutely nevertheless. It's probably about music and what seems to be digital art. This seems pretty cool.
You
Then
had me at music. You had me at music.
the sponsor list dropped and I was like, huh. Then the
Sure.
creator commentary dropped and I was like,
Damn.
huh. Then the theme song artist commentary was dropped and I was like, oh, okay, now we're pushing it. This movie, as a project, in and
You
of
see what I mean,
itself,
chat?
really feels like it was oriented to digital creators, so to speak. A giveaway for a Wacom tablet if you so desire, pre-production materials while they're in production. You guys seen any other movie teasers where the featured products are part of the teaser? Y'all ever seen a Steinberg Cubase Pro 13, Novation FL Key Mini, Wacom
Ooh.
Cintiq 22? They slowly
Ooh, with the
started to drop some
Cintiq?
proper renders too. These look stunning. Exactly
Look at
what I
that,
would
chat.
expect from them by this point. The scene where the main character supposedly uses Blender to make an MV made the rounds on EN Twitter at some point. But we'll get there when we get there. Of course, like with any Japanese movies, this wasn't released internationally. Surprising since it was supposedly produced and distributed by Bandai Namco. So, I held back. I pretended this thing doesn't exist until further notice. I'm positive that this is not gonna come out on streaming anyway. When the Blu-ray came out, I'm too broke of a college student to get it. Yes, I did imply I got it through those means.
Oh.
Paprika, Matsugoki, Ohajiki, and everyone else involved in production, I am so sorry. I greatly apologize. I hope the extra 10 views and 2 sales from this video makes up for it. A Few Moments of Cheers is a movie produced by Bandai Namco and created by a collaboration between 100 Studio and
It's
Hooray.
so good,
Yes,
chat.
that's
Look
how
at
you
that.
read it. If you thought 100 Studio is also not a household name, you're right. I still don't get why Bandai Namco agreed to do this project. Our story starts with Asaya Kanata, a high schooler whose hobby is
This setup right now, like with the light and the room is dark, that's literally my room right now. Literally. So this is what I see every night. Like I'm just grinding. I'm making the shorts, I'm making the shorts for TikTok and stuff every night. Or like I'm producing, or like, I'm checking Discord, I'm checking socials, I'm doing something, or I'm streaming with you guys like right now. But yeah, it's so
making
crazy
music.
to see this in a movie like portrayed like this. I like this. I like the work in progress. I like the notes here. Half open Coke bottle. Uh, yeah, I got my chat open up like this over here. Instead of here, it's here. Got my chat open up right here. Yeah, got my camera here, and then I'm just staring at the screen here.
Videos. Wow, so meta. Yes, that's the whole point of the movie. But the movie truly begins when he starts falling in love with his teacher's music that he desperately wants to animate it, to turn it into a music video.
Thank
Chaos
God.
ensues when he found out that the aforementioned teacher, Yu Orie, gave up on music. Her music career, her ambitions did not work out. She just had to change gears. And then what follows is a story full of sweat, blood,
That's why I wanted to show you guys this chat, because I wanted to ask you guys a very important question. If you do creative work or like anything, if you're in the process of, like following your passions and stuff, have you ever been through this moment, and how did it change you? Or how did it affect you? Did you keep going, or did you decide to like switch gears? What do you guys think? I've had many moments like this in my life. Uh I think the ones I can say for sure recently, since like 2020, I've been putting out music on Spotify. And there were times where I was like, oh, this song is gonna hit, this song's gonna hit, this song's gonna be the one. And it was okay. It was okay. But it wasn't what I expected, you know what I mean? But in a way, I see it as like a blessing in disguise, you know what I mean? A blessing in disguise. Because each song led me to a different point in my life, with different opportunities and stuff. And then eventually one day I was like, let me not just do anything. Let me just sit down and just chill. And then one day I found out about VTubing. And here we are. Here we are. But before, like right before VTubing, I made part one. The 6 part EP, the 6 song EP, and that really changed the way I thought about a lot of things creatively. I thought about like, oh, maybe I had this notion for a long time where I was like, no, I have to be the best. I have to be the best. I have to be number one. I have to be everything. And after a while, I was like, is it really that important to be number one? Why can't I just be better than how I was? Why can't I just, focus on improving what I do song by song? You know, how can I top what I've already done without thinking about what is trending, you know, what is going to be number one? So yeah, I wanted to ask you guys, what are your thoughts? So eventually I came to the point where I was like, you know what? I don't have to be the best, quote unquote. I just want to be the best to myself. You know what I mean? I just want to be like, yo, let me make this. If it sounds different and interesting to every other thing I've done, then I'm going to work on it. And sometimes I've done like uh my friends in chat, they know I made a whole album right before part 1. I made a whole album. We sat down, we had listening parties, we listened to the demos and stuff. And we were like, yeah, this is going in a good place. It's going in a good place. But after the whole uh Japan theme, and after I made part 1, we kind of A-B'd everything because like I didn't decide to just drop it. I was like, let me just put this to the side and focus on this. So after I finished part 1, I was like, yo, this sounds so much better and different compared to the album I was working on. It's not to say I'm never going to visit that idea and that theme. I'm probably going to keep it for later on, but I want to approach it uh at a point where it feels right to me. As my skills grow, as how I write songs and how I craft, uh do production and stuff change, I want to be able to get to that place where the projects feel right to me to put out. I don't know, maybe that's perfectionism, but like maybe that's something else, but I just want it to be perfect to me, you know that's first and foremost. But yeah, I think that's the place in my life where I'm at right now.
Shed and betrayal. It's really good. Now, I've talked about who raised Arxel at length a few moments ago, and don't you worry, we'll talk more about it. But the story too seems to be wonderfully executed. It's realistic. This movie is deeply personal to me because I too was a high schooler whose hobby is making music videos. Except I never met a busker with heartbreaking music that turned out to be my English teacher. It covers the ground on what it's like to be an artist, to create something for the self or for others. What's the point in creating when we don't get anything from it? Not money to live with, not internet views, not even the approval from our closest friends and family. Kanata is young. I think he's in the first year of high school. He found his passion to visualize his favorite songs and to make it resonate with more people, to add his personal flair to it. When he met you, Orie, he did not get why you would stop doing music. I mean, creating things is fun, right? Why stop? You stopped because her music flopped. When you were still young and foolish, she did try to be persistent, to keep making things. Maybe this time it'll work, only for it to fail once more. She would then make one more song, as a declaration to quit. When Kanata first listened to her playing that song in the rain, and subsequently made an MV out of it, you realize Kanata doesn't get her message. The message of, this isn't working out, I'm quitting. Kanata just sees it like another, failure is rough but we'll try again, not knowing that you has indeed tried it over and over again, expecting things to change. What Kanata needs to do, one way or another, is to feel what it's like to do something futile, to not get any and all things back from his effort. Only then he might be able to truly capture Yu Orie's Mime, or Early Dawn. The movie also covers the technical detail.
I think that's a very important thing in life, Chad. I think that's a very important thing. I don't think you should do things expecting like, this is gonna change the game, this is gonna change my life, you know what I mean? It should change you. You gotta do things and put things out that are gonna change you. That's how I feel about things, you know? I feel like you gotta put things out and like not really hope for the best, but be like, I wanna put this out because this is the pinnacle of me. This is the best thing I can do right now. And I'm very proud of it, you know? And you put things out like that, and you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but the main thing is you're growing as a person. So eventually your tastes change, your quality assurance changes. You find things later on that you're like, hey, I could have done this better, or I could have changed this, and you adapt and you know, you transform as a creative. So yeah, that's what I mean.
surprisingly well. As I mentioned before, the gear
That
they
is a
use
sick guitar though. That is a sick guitar. If I could get that guitar, I would.
play a great part in the movie. Well, it's not like they reviewed this antique or something, but the movie is about the process of making things. Let's talk about the Blender scene. No, actually, I'm in Blender.
Ooh, also chat. I think I have an idea for an original character for an OC. But yeah, I'll tell you guys more when I've solidified everything. But yeah, I think I have an idea.
Appearing in this very movie. The way they use their corresponding tools is a big part in the movie. How Audio uses Cubase to produce her songs, the pedals she uses, the Gibson guitar. Oh hey, but she uses a Gibson too. How Kanata uses After Effects, Clip Studio Paint, Blender, Notion to make his music videos. I'm saying, if Blender for VR doesn't look like this, I don't want it. My guess is that these are the literal pre-production footage used as production assets. That could very well be the actual scene info for the project. I mean look, that's a real rig. They made a whole goddamn 3D model, fully textured and rigged exclusively for the bit. This character doesn't even move, this model is merely a prop. Also, like the totally normal human being that I am, I've zoomed into the totally real footage of Kanata using Blender. This character is named Hare. No, it is not relevant to the movie in any way, shape or form. Look at those unnamed objects. I will validate it to be honest. Then there's the music. There's two parts of this film, Kanata's video and Ori's music. And of course, that means we got a live performance. You know what that means.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, the team that planned that and helped with the performance scenes is Exa. We've met them before in this channel. They did the mocap work for Bang Dream and Bocce the Rock. So if you're a fan of those two, the
I can't believe they
performances
didn't mocap for this. That's attention to detail, chat.
feel familiar. Doesn't help that you really does look like an adult version of Tomori Maigo. It's great. They animated the instruments correctly. It looks good. It feels good. It looks better than Girls Band Cry. They took the same amount of care and attention animating the instruments as they did animating Blender in Blender. Speaking of Blender, the art style. I know I'm the Blender nerd anime reviewer person. I don't know how this works. At least with Bandori, I can somewhat guess how their pipeline looks like, but this film looks like magic. This short bit in a Blender scene blew me away. They're not baked in lights, they're not painted lights, these are real lights. And the model really does interact with the lighting, but they do sometimes paint the light.
It does feel very inspired from like Spider-Verse. You know? It does feel very Spider-Verse inspired.
There's a lot of paint effects in this movie. I think some of the background is just straight up digital paintings. Then there's the color scheme. Unlike Trapped at the Past, Generic Riot, and the Shikimori ending, they took a more realistic approach with the color scheme. As realistic as what you're seeing on screen right now. These soft vector art graphic design pastel colors, I only ever saw these in Do It Yourself. There's also these cute little chromatic aberration, acts like a rim light and makes the characters pop like no other. The use of 3D space is also really fascinating. It's not trying to be 2D like Sanzigen or trying too hard to flex about the 3D like Orange. It's just pure 3D animation. These subtle movements, these foreshortening shots, it's not trying to be anything, it's just doing its own thing, which I find really admirable. Also, look at these comments from near the end of the movie.
Dang.
Talk about meta. I'm sure these exact comments would appear under
Somebody's
this video
hating.
too. While it's not really a global phenomenon, Shubunkan no Eru is still a milestone in the anime. The story of Paprika and gang doesn't happen very often. These group of individuals banding together after college is to make cool things. Until one fateful day, with the power of God and anime, this movie came to fruition. It's not just those three though. They're the key part of this project, sure, But their idea, this story about making music videos in Blender, in an art style no one really ever done before, it managed to attract so many people. Enough to make a movie production team. What came out of it is a movie that will definitely shape me as a person for the next 5 years. Just like what New Game did. Could this story happen to you? Could you too, with enough courage and insanity, get a movie greenlit? Maybe, I don't know. But there might be a reason.
It could be you, chat. It could be you. You know what I mean? It could be you. You never know.
Reason to keep making things after all. Now, the rest of this video is just gonna be me being sappy about this movie, because it does speak to me personally. The past me, a high school kid trying to animate things. The present me, a college student about to give up on his dreams. I've been making things since my dad introduced me to
Okay, here, he explains it so well. You gotta listen to this part.
Windows Movie Maker and PowerPoint while I was 6. Despite the ever-changing world, my ever-changing responsibilities, creating digital art was something I always did, and am currently doing. But none of them really went anywhere. I had some close calls, but ultimately they too crumbled down into nothing. I kept making things. Songs, games, animations, silly geometry dash levels. Eventually this very YouTube channel. But real-world responsibilities mean I can't explore those as much as I wanted to anymore. I stopped doing music when I realized nobody was listening to it. I stopped making Blender projects when I realized people just moved on. Why even do this? At all? With how niche this video topic is, I'm not even sure if this video would perform well either. Sure, I can do digital art for fun without caring about how it performs, but again, live stuff. I can't do big projects for fun anymore. Very few people saw what I had made, but it's those few people that gave me a sense of hope, my supportive friends, and even a few strangers that reached out to me saying how inspired they were by my apparently underrated works. The few kanata asayas to my you audience. While I still can't do as much art as I wanted to, I still kinda want to keep going. Insanity? Maybe. But I do enjoy making art, and I will continue to do so in the foreseeable.
This is how I feel, Chad. This is how I feel about you guys as well. That's why I always say, like, I'm very grateful. You know? That's why I always say I'm very grateful for you guys, because you guys gave me like a new life. You know? It's a new life.
Future. Oh, one final thing before I go. I watched the Miku movie the day before I watched this movie, and it too has the exact same theme of keep creating, your art will reach to someone. And in my humble professional opinion, this movie is just better at it. Don't at me, bro. Let's fucking go.
Ooh, he's throwing shade. I like that. Giving him a like. Shout out to this guy, man. Follow this guy, bro. Follow this guy, bro. He's good. You know what? I'm gonna subscribe. You know what? I'm gonna subscribe. He's good. He's good. Hold on. Let me put you guys. Let me put you guys on. Hold on. There you go. There you go. It's in the chat. I think they're doing really good stuff, man. He made his own song. That's crazy. He made his own song. Ooh, what is this? Okay. How do you guys feel? How do you guys feel? You guys good? You ready to watch some animal stuff? I found, what was it? I found this video. There you go. Wildlife Stories, Nature's Greatest Engineers. We can watch this. Bro, I used to, you know, before I got introduced to like cartoons and stuff, you know, before Barney and everything, my parents would make me watch like documentaries and stuff. And I was really like, yo, this shit is so interesting. So the thing that I gravitated towards the most was like dinosaur stuff, you know? And that was a huge part of my childhood, like dinosaur stuff. Like I used to be obsessed. I would know like the facts about the dinosaurs and stuff. I would know like, you know, why they had why they look the way that they look and stuff like that. And so yeah, I have a dinosaur book somewhere. Maybe we can do maybe we can go through that one day, you know, on stream. Maybe I can draw some dinosaurs as well, you know, with reference from the book. We could do that.
Very few animals live in houses, and even fewer know how to build a nest or...
Hold on, let me check.
or a den.
Okay, that's great.
The majority, at most, make use of natural holes or the homes of others. Of those extraordinary beings able to weave plant fibers, shape clay, or design labyrinths against predators and floods.
There we go.
Making traps is even more complex and unusual. Seeing how certain species produce and use incredible construction materials, and discovering that they apply order and geometry to what should be simply organic and chaotic moves us, because it shows us that we aren't the only ones with the skills to use tools.
Okay, hold on, Chad. I gotta go pee. I gotta go pee. I can't hold it in. I can't hold it in. I'll be back. Let's do a quick break. I'll be back. Okay? I'll be back. Okay. I'm back. I'm back. Alright. Let us continue.
There are other architects on the planet who are building for life. Termites could hold the title of the most hard-working insects in the world. They're especially active at night. It's been a while since the sun went down in Brazil. A tamandua
Whoa.
is slowly ambling among the branches of the trees.
An anteater.
It's in no hurry. It's not hungry. It's already had dinner. Hundreds of furious soldier termites are still holding on to its fur, an indication that only a few minutes ago, the small anteater attacked their colony.
Nuh-uh.
The termites will have to build its walls quickly.
Damn. Ew. 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 Is that spit?
They have to patch up the holes which air currents can blow in through. And they have to rebuild the walls of their home.
Man, I hate these motherfuckers, man. Goddamn. I hate these guys, man. Shit, they can get everywhere, bro. You see termites, they're everywhere.
Before dawn, or the birds of the jungle will have them for breakfast.
Bro, I hate insect close-ups. I hate it, chat.
Their building material is chewed up wood, processed in their intestines with feces and digestive juices,
No.
which dry as soon as they are placed on the structure, acquiring it a surprising solidity that endows the nest with great durability.
What the? Hold on, chat. Okay, never mind. Moving on.
Some termite species live in trees. Others prefer the ground.
Oh yeah, the tree ones. Oh man, chat. The tree termites, bro.
From the plains of South America and Australia to the African savanna, termite mounds are a constant feature of the landscape and an essential element for the balance within those ecosystems. The irregular towers that rise up, immense towers on an insect scale, are crucial for the termites to be able to regulate the humidity and temperature, whatever the weather conditions outside. These mounds work like huge air conditioning units. According to the weather, the termite nests can be modified from within, opening or closing galleries and vents to increase or reduce the flow of air.
It's wet.
The stability that these tiny engineers achieve in the nest's thermal and humidity conditions is only matched by what
It's so
humans have attained
freaky.
with our most modern technology and equipment.
Who wants to get evil and freaky with me?
If they don't live in a fortress like the termites, to which very few can gain entry, living in one fixed place is unthinkable for wildlife.
Ah, a bunch of Poombas.
Above all, because that's very hazardous.
Do these guys eat termites?
Going to the same place several times a day would raise the risk of being detected by predators considerably.
Ooh.
It would leave such an easy trail to follow that survival would be impossible. That's why the immense majority of animals have no home. Besides, for a species to design and build a good sanctuary, one that's safe and stable, it needs some very special...
Wait, oh my god, wait. I found something cool. Hold on.
This is the most exclusive wildlife tour that we have ever done at a billionaire's private wildlife rescue and rehab, where he has decided to rescue and save the largest amount of animals of anywhere on the planet. And we have the first ever exclusive behind-the-scenes tour at Ventara, India.
What is that?
Ventara is like an animal haven on Earth. The amount of care that each animal gets and the sheer size of this place is truly incredible. It spans 3,000 acres, over 15 different facility sites.
3,000?
And each of these sites are focused on specific animal groups.
Bro,
And
that's a
first,
campus.
We're going to visit some gentle
That's a
giants
campus,
in their
Chad.
very own custom jacuzzis. Hello, doctor.
Hi, morning. How are you?
How are you, my friend?
Good.
What's happening here? Is this a swimming pool?
This is a hydrotherapy pool. It is a swimming pool. And these two elephants you see here, her name is Moni Mola and that's Champa, her friend.
Okay.
So both of these are severely arthritic. They're old.
Meaning their joints and their bones and things,
They look old, not gonna lie.
gravity and too much pressure.
Yeah, so what happens is when the elephants are outside,
Yeah.
before they came here, these are rescued elephants, right?
Yeah.
So they're being used for logging, for
Yep.
riding.
Oh
for,
no.
entertainment purpose.
This is
It's
horrible, Chad. The way people treat elephants is horrible. Put them in chains and shit, bro.
For
Yeah.
example.
So as hydrotherapy, they get to relax in here, like that one
Yeah,
over there.
she's sleeping peacefully.
Get
you
to
can
have a
see, right?
sleep, and they just
Yeah.
put their trunk up to breathe, and then it doesn't hurt their bones and their joints.
It doesn't hurt. It takes the weight off their joints. It gives them a huge relief.
So this elephant is so relaxed, she's passed out, she's gone back to sleep. But this is just one of a gazillion things that you guys do it here at Ventara,
We
right?
try our best, yeah.
We try our best. So let's go see some more. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Hello, baby. Get him. Take his
Hey.
cameras. There goes an elephant. He's stealing all the fruit. Come on, buddy, this way.
I remember one time, Chad, you know, they had the elephant rides in the zoo. And then I went up to the elephant, and the elephant looked at me with its eyes, and it was like so sad. And I just gave him a little pet, you know, on his head. And he was like, he was so chill. He was like, yo, thanks, bro, in a way, you know, with his eyes. He was like, "Frrr, frrr." I was like, you good, bro. You good, bro. You good.
Here we go. Come on now. Come on now. So look at these two. These two elephants came from logging. They were miserable. These animals were literally being tortured.
Oh,
That guy has
no.
holes in his ear. She's blind in one eye and was being fully abused. And now they just have this this amazing life.
They got so much personality, Chad. These elephants have so much personality.
Here at Ventara, you can see how friendly and happy they are. And they're two of over 220 elephants that live here at Ventara, whose lives have become completely perfect. Now you may be looking thinking, oh, how can they be living in this box? They're not. That's what's insane. So as you stay tuned, as we show you this, every single elephant that you're gonna see, they only overnight in places like this, and they move out into a private elephant forest, which we're gonna go see in a little bit. So look at this, every day the elephants here get a scrub and a bath, which not only cleanses them, but helps them develop a bond with their mahout, which is the guy who stays with them at every stage of their life, walks with them in the forest, scrubs them here, feeds them everything, so that they have that intimate connection. In case you didn't think these elephants had it good enough here at Ventara, right now they're getting a hot water massage with all kinds of herbal medicine for their joints. It's better than a spa for humans. And believe it or not, here we have an elephant mani-pedi station. So these guys are actually trained equine farriers, meaning they take care of horse feet. But at this facility, the only facility in the world, they have taken that knowledge and applied it to elephant care, because in captivity, before they're rescued, these elephants have major foot problems from getting shards of glass.
Why do they have the plastics though? Why are they wearing trash bags, bro?
Walking on boiling hot pavement, and once they come here,
that's what I really want to know. Why are they wearing trash bags?
It's got 3 people running around fiddling with it. This would never happen with an elephant that had been abused until they got to Ventara.
If you didn't think these elephants had it good enough already, just wait until you see the next luxury that they get to enjoy.
A jacuzzi.
So here we have the world's first temperature-controlled elephant jacuzzi.
Oh my God! Look at this spot.
Wow.
Oh my God! This is amazing, doctor.
So this is
They're
like
in a spa.
I know. So this is like the next step to what you saw before.
Yeah.
So here we have, this is all temperature.
You know the other thing too, Chad, like sometimes I don't trust these kinds of videos and these kinds of places, you know what I mean? Sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. Because they can just show us whatever we want to see, you know? And then behind the scenes, it's like animal abuse and shit like that. So like, I don't know how to feel sometimes, you know?
Control, and here we have water jets at 3 levels.
It's temperature control?
It's temperature control.
What temperature do you keep it at?
So this can go up to 32 degrees Celsius, which you can use in winters.
Yeah.
But otherwise it remains at the room temperature, of course.
So it's literally a giant hot tub.
It is.
It's got jets, it's got heating.
It has got jets at 3 levels.
Is this the world's first elephant jacuzzi?
It is world's first temperature control jacuzzi. Yes.
Hey, give me a hug, give me a hug, give me a hug. I love this. This is amazing. This is blowing my mind.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Doctor, I'm so overwhelmed with emotion being here, knowing what these animals have been through,
I know.
and seeing what this is like. I mean, this is paradise for them.
Yeah, I mean, even for us, it's
That guy's got a
amazing.
big
It's
forehead.
really satisfactory to see them enjoying
You see?
this, especially
One
with
hump
the
is like
temperatures
bigger
they
than
come.
the other. You
This
see
is
what I mean?
Unbelievable,
You see?
doctor.
Yeah, but if you think this is crazy, you know, let me show you some more stuff.
Okay, let's go. And after all those insane spa treatments, every single day, every elephant at this facility comes through here and goes into this conditioning. Hey, doctor.
Hey, Boris, welcome.
Thank you. So what's going on here?
Currently, we are having a laser therapy session
Okay.
for one of our arthritic elephants.
Laser therapy.
Laser therapy. So
Wow.
we use this for arthritis, for acute sprains and traumas. Sometimes we use it for colic and even for laser acupuncture.
And they're being conditioned to go into this every day so that
Yes.
you can apply treatment, right?
Yes.
You can give them medication, you can do whatever needs to be done for each individual animal.
Right. And as you can see, she's constantly being given treats so that there's a positive correlation.
Yep.
So they're completely stress-free while the entire procedure is going on.
And once they go through here, there's a whole smattering.
Wait, what? I wasn't listening. Hold on. I wasn't listening. Hold on.
So
Wow.
we use this for arthritis, for acute sprains
Ah.
and traumas. Sometimes we use it for colic and
Oh
even for
no,
laser
that's why the
acupuncture.
elephant
And
is
they're
like
being
shivered.
conditioned to go into this every day so that
Yes.
you can apply treatment, right?
Yes.
You can give them medication, you can do whatever needs to be done for each individual animal.
Right. And as you can see, she's constantly being given treats so that there's a positive
Oh
correlation.
no,
So
look
they're
at it.
completely
Oh
stress-free
no.
while the entire procedure is going on.
And once they go through here, there's a whole smattering of other things that
Yes.
they can or will go through before they go outside,
Right. So we try to condition them to come into the hospital, get through every stage so that if and when we do need to bring them in for certain procedure, they're completely stress-free.
All right, thank you, doctor. If I were to explain to you guys the amount of features that this hospital has, this video would be 6 hours long. But look at this. Right here is an elephant in an oxygen hyperbaric chamber. Over here, we have the world's largest elephant hydraulic lift. So this is used for
What?
surgeries on elephants where they bring them up because you cannot move a sleeping elephant when you have to give it surgery. There are millions and millions of dollars of radiology and machines and all kinds of things going on over here. In this area, the animal animal are getting acupuncture. Look at this. This is elephant acupuncture. This place is the craziest, the best, the most impressive wildlife husbandry facility I've ever seen in my entire life. And it honestly makes me so happy that I want to cry knowing that these animals are being saved. And that's before they get to go to the forest, which is where we're going right now.
The forest is one of the
Dang.
most special sites at Ventara. A 2,000-acre
Look
lot
at that.
where there are no cages or restraints.
Look
They
at little
browse,
bros
interact
with the
other
squad. With the squad. Yo.
species, and most importantly, act like elephants. Welcome to the Greenbelt. Whether an animal was rescued from a human-wildlife conflict zone or saved from performing in a circus, once they get to Ventara, their life has changed forever. No more chains or torture devices. They now live a life worth living.
Imagine being chained up in these torture devices, literally 22 hours a day in the boiling hot sun where your feet are burning on concrete. And when you walk through the doors here at Ventara, never again will those horrible torture devices be
Oh
a
no,
part of
they
their
got
life.
trauma.
Look at how much they even hate it. They're just literally breaking them and throwing them around. They know that they've
Damn,
come
they
through
got
here
trauma.
with happiness from
Get
a
'em,
life
get 'em.
otherwise torture.
Get him. Get him. Ooh. He's trying. Whoa.
Some very powerful stuff. It's amazing, huh, Kyle? Yeah, it's really powerful to think where
Damn.
they come from and where they are now.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is just the start because there are thousands
There you go,
and
bro.
thousands more animals to see here at Ventara. So let's get on to happier times. Hey,
Whoa.
Naman.
Hi, Forrest.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good.
Good
How
to
are
see
you?
you. I'm
Yeah.
very well. Tell me about these beautiful, grumpy kitties that you have here.
So you're standing
big
at
boys,
the world's
chat.
biggest and the largest leopard rescue center.
Okay, how many leopards?
We've got more than 250 leopards.
250 leopards get out of here.
Exactly.
No way.
Yeah,
Do you ever say no to a leopard?
not at all.
Is there any animal at Ventara that you say no to?
Not at all.
So any animal in need you guys will bring in.
Definitely.
That is absolutely insane. So where do you keep 250 leopards?
So this whole facility,
Yeah.
it's a 60-acre facility.
Okay.
And we've got more than 150 paddocks and night cells.
Well, my understanding is one of these leopards, I'm not sure which one,
Yeah.
is a notorious man-eater.
Right behind you.
This one?
Yes.
What's this leopard's name?
His name is Love.
Love?
Yeah.
It's not a very intimidating name.
His
for a
name is
leopard. How many
Love.
people has Love killed?
He got that riz. He got that riz.
It's on more than 20.
More than
What?
50.
No, that's a man eater. No, more than 20?
Yes.
So is he called Love because he loves to eat people?
It's because of the caretakers who actually love him.
I see. So this animal that's showing me this unbelievably relaxed body language is calm, he's lying down, he's not hiding, he's eaten 20 people.
Yes.
Get out of here. Typically when an animal like a leopard or a tiger becomes a man-eater,
Yeah.
there's a reason. They don't
Yes.
choose to become a man-eater. What was Love's reason?
See, normally what's happening here is when we rescued these animals from the lion-dominated areas, our team found out that the lions were actually struggling for the resources.
I see.
And you see, when a big cat like lion is struggling for the resources, leopards cannot live in the area.
So he had nothing to eat.
And in search of easy prey, in search of stray animals, they come into cities and villages. And that's how
Whoa.
where they get into the conflict with humans.
I see.
That's crazy.
You're,
Whoa,
you're
whoa,
a pretty naughty
whoa.
kitty if you've eaten 20 people. How have you managed to get him this relaxed and this calm?
You want to know it?
Yes, I do.
Come, let me show it to you.
Okay. We better not go in there. Okay. Whew. You stood up like we were going in.
So we actually train this animal. This is known as positive reinforcement training.
So you've got the whistle, that's his cue.
Yes.
And then is that target for target training?
Exactly.
So he puts his nose on. Oh, look
And-
it's like a house cat. It's a man-eating house cat. That's
Yes.
what you've managed to create here.
And you know what? We are not changing his natural behavior, but this
Right.
training helps us to actually keep a track on the health of these animals. So
Uh-huh.
today, if I want to take a blood sample,
How do you do it?
I can take the tail out. So it thoda
Shut up. Show me.
I'll show you.
You
Come.
can't take his tail
Sorry?
out. He's going to bite
Thoda
your
agile.
hand off if you touch his
No, no,
tail. No, get out of here. Do not
No.
put your hand in there. Good thing he's distracted because you wouldn't have a hand otherwise. Look at this. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Forrest, hold this.
No way.
Feel the thing.
Oh my goodness. Look at this.
No,
I am
he's
literally
holding a
petting
leopard
the
tail. That's
Of a
crazy.
notorious Indian man-eating leopard. I mean, this is wild. And what's more wild than the fact that this animal has killed an
Why is he pulling him, though?
people, or that he's been rescued and living in this insane facility, is the fact that while
Well.
holding his tail, this notorious man-eater who's backing his butt up towards me, he couldn't care less. He is happy, he is relaxed, His body language is showing you calmness. They don't have to sedate him. They don't have to put him under any undue stress. And literally, it's like playing with a big man-eating house kitty. Well, this is unbelievable. Thank you. I'm going to let go of his I don't want to, but I'm going to.
No.
Thank you for showing me. This is amazing. There are so many leopards here. There's no way we can see 250
You
of
want
them.
to see one more surprise?
One more surprise?
Yes.
Let's go.
Come, let
Show
me
me.
take it out.
Let's go. Something exciting is coming. What do we have here? Oh, no
Good
way.
girl.
Wait, what's going on here?
Good girl.
This isn't
Yo.
melanistic.
This is not melanistic.
This is a different. Is this a skin
Yes,
condition?
it's
What is
a skin
going on?
condition.
What is it? Hi.
This is known as vitiligo.
So when it's so much melanism that it starts to turn white or
It
silver.
starts turning back.
Starts turning back.
Yes, the grayish pattern you see, that's a very rare condition.
How many of these are there in the world?
I don't know, probably 2, 3.
2 or 3 in the entire world. And
Wow.
you have one from here.
Yes.
That's
And
rare,
she looks like
Chad.
she was hand raised or
Yes,
captive
she was in a
facility.
captive facility before.
Wow. So here you can really see the difference between melanism and vitiligo.
vitiligo.
So vitiligo is this unbelievably rare condition where there's so much melanism, like this leopard here, this hyper black melanism, that the skin actually reverts back. So it overproduces melanism to the point that it kind of conks out and then it starts creating a white color, right?
Yeah.
Oh yes, and this one's a bit cheeky. You're not like Tusker. This
Not
one's
at all.
this one would kill you.
Tusker is incredibly beautiful, but vitiligo is a rare autoimmune condition, and without the special care that Ventara gives her, she would be struggling in the wild.
Well, Naman, this is amazing, my friend. This place, I wish there's
That's a
so many things
crazy
I wish I
animal,
could
Chad.
show
That's a
here.
crazy looking
I wish I
animal.
could give all 250 plus leopards their time, but
Forrest,
I
I
appreciate
really
it.
think you should see the reptiles of Vantara. I know you're a reptile
Okay,
fan.
reptiles it is. Hey there, Arj.
Oh.
How are you? Good to see you.
Nah,
Oh,
I wouldn't be that close to Crocs, man. That is insane. I wouldn't be that close. That is insane, bro. Look at the size of these guys.
Man, you're just hanging out here with all your pet dinosaurs,
Nah.
huh?
Childhood dream, living it.
You know Crocs can like run really fast. Like really fast. I forgot the actual speed, but like they can run. So like and they can like outrun you. So you gotta be careful, you know what I mean? You gotta be careful. You know? Oh.
So these are all muggers, right?
Correct. So we are at Vantara's Crocodile Rescue Center right now, and all of these big crocs here are our male mugger crocodiles.
These are all males.
All males.
Oh
This
my
is a
goodness.
large male group of mugger crocodiles. You can see they have a big spacious enclosure here.
This is a ton of space.
Correct.
Whoa,
So
look at
we
that
got
big
all
guy.
these
No, look at that big
They
guy.
have a
Wait,
big
wait.
spacious enclosure here.
This is a ton.
Look at this guy, bro. Nah. This is the big boy.
of space.
Correct. So we got all these crocodiles in as part of our ongoing efforts to decongest Indian zoos.
Oh, you're kidding.
We moved these guys almost a couple of thousand kilometers across the country.
No way.
Just to make sure that they have a more spacious home. They were in a very overcrowded facility in the south of India, and we moved all of these by road almost halfway across the country, and we've given them the most luxurious digs possible.
That must have been a crazy move.
Oh, hectic.
Even just catching one of these things, I know from experience, not with muggers, but with salties and things, it's a hassle catching one
We
crocodile.
were catching up and moving at least 100 at a time
Oh, wow.
across the country. It was a mammoth exercise, but we managed to do it without any casualty, both to crocs or to humans.
Well,
So
that's
this is something
good,
that
yeah.
we're very proud of.
Yeah, that's good.
And now all of these mugger crocs, along with a bunch of other species we've rescued from various places, they have a very comfortable and much more spacious home than they did have at any
Hey,
of their
hey, hey,
previous
hey, hey,
facilities. Calm down now.
Calm,
Hey!
that's enough.
No worries, no worries. That's the problem. In once of
That's what I mean, Chad. They get curious, you know what I mean? They get curious.
them gets one
They
of them
get all
gets turned
fired
on,
up.
they
That's
all
enough.
get fired up.
That's enough. Calm down. Calm down.
One has to be a smartass, and then they all think that.
But
they're
you
gonna
can't,
get
if you
something.
give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
100%.
You know, you
Just
have to be
quick
stern
tap
with
and-
crocodiles.
yeah.
That's it. You just got to show them, look, I'm one of you. You know, I'm
Absolutely.
just like you are. If you come at me, I'm coming back. If you act like prey, they'll treat you like prey.
Absolutely, 100%.
This is just a reminder that getting up close with these animals can be very dangerous. Luckily, I've been working with wildlife for decades, but I wouldn't recommend going near crocodiles like
Oh,
this
you
to
think? You think?
anyone.
This one, I think I don't like his body language.
Oh, that one's just waiting to.
He's ready to go. I've been watching him out the side eye. Yeah,
he's side eyeing us too. He's like, "Where's my chicken at? Where's my meat at?"
He thinks these are chicken legs. You see these skinny legs?
You need to hit the gym a bit.
I know. See, look at him. Look at him.
Oh,
hey, that's enough out of you.
Chad.
That's enough.
Oh, no.
Calm down.
Come on.
Off you go.
Nah.
There you go. Tell me a bit about mugger crocodiles. I'll say of all the crocodilians, they're one that I have very little experience with.
Understood. So mugger crocs are the most widespread Indian species of crocodile. So they're found pretty much across peninsular India. They also have the broadest snout of any true crocodilian. So, you know, they are adapted to eat much larger prey.
Look at this guy. Hey.
Yeah, he's looking for a
Oh,
snake.
nah. Look at him. Look at
Sorry,
big bro. Look at big bro. He's waiting.
They're adapted to eat larger prey.
Adapted to eat larger prey. They do exert tremendous bite force.
Yeah.
But as far as conflict with humans go, they're not very aggressive. You know, we're able to stand here without much of a hassle. That says a lot.
Obviously, you said these guys were rescued from overcrowding. I think most people don't understand that crocodiles can live in ridiculous abundance together. I mean, look at them. They're literally lizards on top of lizards over here.
Oh, absolutely. Like, especially mugger crocs. So they're happy living like this.
Yeah.
And we make sure to manage the diet and break up fights whenever we need to. But
Which
you know,
probably happens a lot, especially with males, right?
in all male groups, yeah, once in a while we have to break up fights. But otherwise, mostly they're pretty good to each other.
How many species of crocodilian do you have here?
Oh, we have more than a dozen species of crocodile, but there's one really special species I think we should go take a look at after this.
I'd love to. Let's do it.
Cheers.
Don't you guys behave now.
But before we go check out this very special reptile, let's take a look at how they keep
The
control
bears?
over
They have
so
bears,
many animals.
hippos,
and then
rhinos?
get up close and personal with an animal I never thought I would get to see.
And if you're asking yourself the obvious question of how do you protect hundreds of
Control
thousands of animals
room.
over 3,500 acres, well, take a look at this. You have the
It's looking like Jurassic Park in here, bro. It's looking like Jurassic
best
Park.
private security team you could ever imagine. You have aerial surveillance. You have 3,500
Wait, is this shit the Jurassic Park? Chat, is this shit the Jurassic Park?
cameras here looking like the White House of wildlife. It is absolutely insane. As you move over here, you have all of these tranquilizers, human and animal response teams, all kinds of AI learning to learn about these animals. You have a fire officer, a mechanical officer, and a vet who are all looking out for the best welfare of the animals in the most state-of-the-art security facility that I have ever seen.
Enough with the technology. Let's go check out
Dang.
one of the coolest animals in the entire world.
This entire trip and this entire place has been one of these things where dreams for me are coming true, and I'm actually getting goosebumps and like butterflies in my stomach. I've never been like celebrity shy or anything like that, and right now,
You know, I had this thought the other day, Chad. I saw like, you know, in the supermarkets where they keep the tubs with the fish and stuff. I saw like a whole tub of shallow water filled up with catfish, live catfish. And I was like, what if I get one of them and then put them in an aquarium over here in my house and try and raise one, you know, as like a pet. You know what I mean? But then I asked my friend and he was like, dude, if you pick out a catfish, they're probably going to take the thing and like chop it right in front of you on the spot. And I was like, ooh, that's going to be pretty sad. That's going to be pretty sad. I was like, could you not kill it? But, you know, he does have a point. He does have a point.
I might freak out. They've said, just go ahead, and if you'd like to interact with the okapis, these two have been born here. They're two very
Okapis?
special okapis, and just go right in.
Approaching wildlife that you're unfamiliar with is unwise and be dangerous to the animal. But these okapis have been raised by Mavesh, who we'll meet a little bit later. So I trust his judgment,
Ooh, he's
giving
jittery.
us the okay to get up close and personal.
One of the most shy, incredible, and elusive species closely related to the giraffe. In fact, they are the only pair of twin
Jittery.
okapis that have ever been born and raised successfully in the entire world, and they're right here at Ventara.
He's
I'm gonna
jittery, look
try
at him.
very carefully to get close to one without upsetting it, but it's
But can you ride one of them? Can you ride one of them?
like, oh, I'm like jittery with excitement because this is an animal I've wanted to see up close my whole life. One really cool thing about okapis is they weren't even discovered until 1901. They were thought to be mythological, and when they were discovered, it was figured out how elusive they are, how shy they are, and because they're related to giraffes, they're browsers, so they pick all this vegetation with a tongue that's insane. It's 18 inches long, so
Yeah, yo.
and just look
That boy freaky. Look at him. That boy freaky. Yo, he freaky with it. Tongue game strong. He freaky.
at them. I think they're like the most
Ooh.
beautiful animal in the entire world. They are very shy. They're not nervous, as you can see by their body language, but they're not an animal that's going to come up and try and rub up and nuzzle up against you. Super rare, endangered species, but even more than their rarity is their shyness and their elusiveness. The fact that basically you cannot get close to these animals in the wild at all, and this guy's just hanging out right here. These big, beautiful, waxy ears. Look at what it's like petting him. That's the grease that they emit from their coat to keep them water repellent. So one thing that's so incredible about okapis, outside of looking like something a child drew on a piece of paper, is with this 18-inch browser tongue, they're the only animal in the world that can take their tongue and clean the backside and inside of their ears and their eyeballs
That's
with their
crazy,
own
Jack.
tongue to keep them healthy, which is absolutely crazy. Look at him though, he's just so cute. I love him. I want to hug him and then my whole shirt will look like this, but boy, do I love you. Yes, I do.
As we finished up with the okapis,
Hey.
I got word that Arj
This
was
guy's pretty cute, man. This guy's pretty
Do
cute.
I love
Wait,
you?
wait,
Yes, I do.
wait.
As
Hold
we
on, hold
finished
on.
up
Oh, look at him. He's smiling. Look at him. Oh.
with the okapis, I got word that Arj is ready for a very special
Oh,
experience
look
with
at
my
this guy.
favorite animal on earth.
Yo.
So let's go check it out.
Oh, Arj, no way.
This is what I was talking about.
Oh, gharial are literally my favorite animal in the entire world. How many are in here?
We have 32 subadults in this.
They're pretty shy, right?
They're very shy. They're
Yeah.
not the most aggressive species of crocodile. They can give you a quick bite off to the side
Of course,
because they
yeah.
move left, right really fast.
Yep.
Obviously, you know why they have these long, slender snouts. It's because they're primarily fish eaters.
World-class fish eaters.
World-class fish eaters.
Yeah.
Really the very
Right.
best.
Ooh,
Come
look
here.
sneaky. I like that.
Yeah,
See that
sneaking up
sideway
at us.
move? No, no. No lunging.
He knows to stay. He
Yeah.
knows to stay. He's a good little croc.
Is that a boy?
Come down. This one looks like a boy to me.
Oh,
Come
so
down.
you have males in here.
Yeah, this
So
is a
s-
mixed group, but they're not old enough to breed yet.
So something, I have to try that. I've never touched a gharial.
Whoa.
I have to touch a gharial.
That's all.
Look at that. I have touched a gharial. I've touched a gharial. That's dream come true.
Again, this is very dangerous, and I'm risking losing a finger, but years of experience with crocodilians and with Arj by my side, I'm confident I'll be okay.
Look at this sneaky one. Hello. Ooh, that would be some stitches. Look at that. So in the wild, the males get absolutely huge. Whoops.
This is probably the second largest or the third largest species of crocodilian.
In
Look at
the
that
entire
bite for
world.
his chat.
Entire
Ooh,
world. The
nah.
biggest gharial captured
nah.
was 17 and a half or 18
Oh my
feet close
God.
to. So despite them being a fairly peaceful species, they get massive.
And they can cause some trouble. A bite from one of those is
A
devastating.
bite from a big gharial would be very painful, but typically that would only happen if the animal is a male
Right.
defending a clutch of babies. You've seen the images of gharial forming creches with the
Oh.
babies. So
Of course.
males,
Stop.
it's believed that males do that to advertise their suitability as potential parents. So
Interesting.
there are guardian males that oversee big groups of 200, 300, 400 babies at a stretch, and they're not necessarily the parents of half of those babies.
Ah.
That's just them signaling their suitability as a potential future mate.
Bro is doing performative. You know what I mean? The crocodiles are being performative.
For some of these females.
So the gharial,
There is?
I learned this the last time I was here, is a type of Indian pot.
Ghara. The
Ghara.
word ghara means pot.
Pot.
Ghara means pot.
And so that's what that little bulbous thing on the end of the nose
Correct.
is.
It looked like a
named-
pot to the initial lot of people who saw these animals.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got a lot more function than just being a visual.
Sure.
This thing, the males use it for sexual signaling. And aside from that, they're known to use that to amplify the calls that they make to females.
They're like,
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
a big part of their breeding process as well. So the bigger the ghada, the more attractive that male is to potential mates. So it's like peacocks or any other animal. It's all
Of course.
different forms of sexual signaling.
Of
and
course.
the ghara plays a big role in gharial reproduction.
well, this, Arj, this has been literally as much of a dream come true as working with any animal could be for me in my entire
That's
life.
crazy,
so I
Chad.
cannot say
That's
thank you enough for
crazy.
this.
Absolutely. You're
That's
welcome
insane.
anytime. You want to take a look at any of our other reptiles also, just give me a shout and you know where to find me.
Sure, that would be amazing. Bye, guys. You're the best. You're the best. One day I'll be back to see your babies. Oh, I just want to hug you, even though you'd rip me to shreds.
After this incredible experience with the gharial, we decided to check out a hippo species that's been taking the world by storm.
Moodang!
Gang on steroids over here, right?
Moodang!
This is, what's funny is
Moodang!
of every animal.
Moodang! Moodang.
that we've been around, this is probably the most dangerous one.
Exactly.
And as adorable and cute as this pygmy hippo looks, you were terrified. You were like, don't go in there.
Yeah, exactly. Because anytime they'll change their behavior.
What I know about hippos is big Nile hippos from where I'm from in Zimbabwe.
Yep.
They're not aggressive, they're nervous.
Yep.
So if they feel trapped at all, they come at you. How is that compared to a dwarf hippo?
These guys, anytime their mood changes.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah.
We can't believe, even if we are cleaning, they'll be hiding, they'll be coming very close to us,
Yeah.
and they'll be immediately charging.
So they really are actually aggressive, not just defensive.
Very aggressive.
Interesting.
Exactly. Basically, we want all our animal to be
I
wild.
can't
We
believe
are
it,
not
man. Look at
playing
it.
with them, we are not taming them,
Aw.
nothing.
Right.
Just releasing them, just observing them.
Yep.
Look at that.
Oh,
Look
here
at
she
that.
comes.
Yep.
Better back up. She's getting cheeky now. There we go. Good job.
Oh.
So take a look at that white secretion by her ear there. That is a natural sunscreen.
See.
So there we go. Now we're okay. For now. So that's a natural sunscreen that they emit from the glands behind their ears, and then they'll go and rub it against the tree and rub it all over their body, and that protects them from the very harsh North African sun where they're from. So
Right.
absolutely amazing animals. So tell me a little bit about these pygmy hippos. Honestly, I don't know that much about them.
They are from Central Africa.
Yeah.
Everyone know that.
Yep.
And they are from the rainforest.
One of the reasons I wanted to feature her is because I thought when you told me the story about how you got these two and how Mr. Ambani rescued them, I couldn't believe it. So get this, right? These pygmy hippos were in a hotel pond in Sri Lanka, okay? That
Damn.
means these animals had been collected likely from the wild
Yeah.
and somehow smuggled from Central Africa to Sri Lanka, where some of the most dangerous and aggressive little chubby hamsters you've ever seen were hanging out in a hotel pond as a spectacle for tourists. And then Mr. Ambani heard about this,
Yep.
went down there and rescued them and brought them to this oasis. That's like deciding to get, a killer
Aw.
wolf as a pet
Oh.
and put it in your hotel lobby
Trying to
and
eat
be
the
like, go
camera.
pet the nice friendly dog.
Eat the camera.
I cannot think of a worse pet to have at a hotel than these guys, which are so notoriously cheeky and horrible. I mean, even what we're doing right now is quite dangerous.
Even that's why I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at. I'm just observing the animal. You know.
Well, I think it's so fantastic what you guys are doing here and the fact that you saved these two little hippos, because you know what would have happened? They would have ended up hurting someone,
Sure.
probably a tourist.
100%.
Somebody would have been hurt
Yeah.
and they would have been put down.
Exactly.
And that would have been the end of it. Well, another life goal for me here as far as seeing an animal that I never really thought I'd get to interact with and seeing it so peaceful. This is a very cheeky, very aggressive creature. And instead of being upset,
Bro
she's
is
very
hungry.
as
Look at
calm
it.
as a pygmy hippo can be. She's as calm as can be. She's sitting there having a chomp on watermelon. Well, this is amazing. This place is incredible. We barely even scratched the surface. I mean, I've seen 2,000-3,000 animals in the last 2 days, and that's not even the beginning. Let's go see some big cats, shall we?
Yeah, we have.
Let's do it.
But before we go check out some insane
Aw.
color morph tigers, let's go see some rhinos that were rescued from a flood.
One of the coolest
Ooh.
things here, I think, at Ventara is the fact that you guys are working to save Indian rhino,
Right.
which are in a lot of trouble, like all rhinos. So
Yes.
how did you end up with these guys?
See, we rescued these guys from the Assam flood.
Oh,
basically.
there was a huge flood in the zone.
Yes, they were very small calves when they rescued, and now they are enjoying this 5-acre land.
5 acres just for 2 of them.
Yeah, just for those.
That's amazing.
And with natural 2 water bodies.
Yeah.
You can see the natural
Oh,
2
I
water
saw
bodies.
them wallowing in the
They
water.
wallow in the
They're a bit,
water.
I can see they're a bit cheeky, so we must slowly make our way back.
They will
but
charge anytime.
I can see that. They're going to start, hopefully you
Ooh.
boys can move. But
Yeah,
see
you
the
can see.
nose starting to come up now and the ears going forward? That's cheekiness coming.
She
so.
is Sukani and the male is Bishwajit. And both rescued from the different village of Assam.
And brought together.
Exactly.
And they're paired up.
Exactly.
I love it. Look at them. They're sweet. They're sweet, but
They are
not
not
that
fully
sweet.
grown, they are not adult completely.
Yeah.
They are still. That's
Yeah.
why they are, because basically the Indian
hey.
rhinos are, solitary animals.
So really cool there, the right thing to do. It's interesting because you probably could stay in with the rhinos, but the thing is one head shake,
That's enough.
it's enough.
Yeah,
That's all it
enough,
takes. The power of these animals, you cannot imagine. Because literally just like, if they saw you like a fly, just
Exactly.
that's irritating, you're smushed, you're dead. So, you do have to give them respect, and it's a
They
pity that we
are-
have to be through the bars, but this is not
They-
an electric fence. This is not
Nothing,
something,
nothing.
it's just a bar. And I mean, look, at the end of the day, the
Stunning.
truth is, they're not angry animals. You see, like I'm right here. Yes, they could charge, whatever, but they're not. They're choosing to be very calm. They're just
I
happy
don't
to
know,
have food,
Chad.
but they're
I
like,
don't know. I would still be cautious. You know what I mean?
The thing to do, the respectful thing to do for the animal is not encroach on their space. Sit here, let them have a munch. They obviously love you. They came running over to see you. And I think the fact that you guys are rescuing these animals from India, animals that are in such jeopardy globally, all rhinos, and here they are living their best life, literally. It's
100%
absolutely
you can
awesome. Oh, Kyle's been got. Did you get that? Cheeky. That's
Damn.
funny. Kyle got
You look
got.
at him run.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Oh, cheeky girl. What you can't see is on the back here, look over here, is this huge lake. Rhinos love mud. They need it for their skin. They need it to wallow. They need it for sunscreen.
Gotta
They've
get
got
that
it all
skincare, you know what I
right
mean,
here at
Chad?
Ventara. It's
Gotta get that
absolutely
skincare.
awesome. What else should we go see?
Tigers.
This is a crazy
Ooh,
story that we're going to tell
tigers.
because they have all kinds of different genetic variations, morphs, hybrids of tigers. Let's go see them.
Before we go into the ugly part of the tigers, the tiger breedings,
Yeah.
and I'll show you some of the pure breed in Vantara.
That's a beautiful wild Bengal tiger. This is what a tiger should look like. This is
Exactly.
probably a wild-caught animal, right?
Exactly, it's a wild rescue.
Yeah, from a well or human-wildlife conflict or
Exactly,
something like
yes.
that. Because, oh, look at that, he's hot.
Look at
Look at this.
He's-
Look over
he's-
here, come. Look at this. So here he's sitting, he's cooling down. See that panting?
Yep.
That is a heat release, and he's sitting in the water. He's venting out the heat, he's cooling his body down.
Yep.
And we're very lucky because Bengal tigers, like one like this, a real one, very shy.
Now you have seen the beautiful Indian tiger here in this enclosure.
Yep.
Now we are going to see the ugly part of captive breeding.
Okay, let's go.
And after we check out these odd color morph tigers, we're going to play a little game with them that I like to call drone enrichment cat and mouse.
Hi. Hello, big boy.
Tigers are not supposed to look like this. These are selectively bred color morphs.
Exactly.
Explain it to me because I don't really understand the morph world at all.
Here we go, Chad. Watch
Normal
this.
tiger color is orange.
Right, the beautiful Bengal tiger.
Perfect,
We've seen
perfect.
it. I know what it looks
Exactly.
like. Yes,
But
this
here,
is not that.
Here you can see the different morphs. Two morphs you can see here.
Yeah.
One is snow tiger and the
Okay.
other one is golden tiger or the tabby tiger. Because it's completely captive inbreeds.
And it's changed a lot about them, right? And I think that's important to note. Tigers are a solitary animal.
Now
at them
what,
here.
what you are
There's
saying
six
is
in here? How
exactly.
many are in here?
Yes,
Yeah.
here we have 7 here.
7.
Yeah, because
Why?
basically we got a group of these tigers.
Yeah.
And when we started separating, we all know they are solitary.
Yeah.
But when we started separating them and we observed the cortisol level in fecal matters,
Mm-hmm.
but it's showing very high.
So they were stressed out.
Exactly.
When
When we separated
Look at
them,
this.
they
That's
are
not
showing
solitary behavior.
exactly.
And I think it's important that the audience knows about this. It's kind of a sad story.
Right.
Tigers in the 1980s were a hot commodity. And I mean, they still kind of are today, right? Tiger kings and things
100%,
like that.
yeah.
But in the 1980s, you could buy a tiger for 10 grand or something, keep it in your living room. There was
Yep.
no regulation.
Yep.
And then people didn't just want a tiger. They wanted a white tiger or a black tiger or one with no stripes.
Exactly.
Or
The
one
demand,
with,
the demand of the different morphs increased.
Right.
That's why genetically engineered.
Right.
That's why now we are suffering a lot.
Yeah.
Our entire Vantara team,
Yeah.
the veterinary
Look at that,
team,
Chad.
the biological team, everyone is suffering a lot because if there is a small injury,
Right.
it'll take minimum 1 to 2 months for the proper healing because most of them are hemophilic.
No way.
No.
Most
So
of
that's
them-
all from the genetic inbreeding.
Yes.
So it's ruined their health.
Look at this guy.
Genetically, they are
Look
very
at this
poor.
guy.
That's what we understood. So it's heinous, really,
Yeah.
and unethical.
Yeah,
from the
it is
natural.
unethical. It really
unethical
is.
and natural from the natural. It's far from the natural breeding.
Right.
It's wow effect in other zoos and everywhere. Wow effect. Wow, it's a golden tiger.
Right.
Wow, it's a snow tiger.
Right.
But at the end, these animals are suffering a lot.
But what's important to note here, and what's so important overall, is that Mr. Ambani and what you guys at Ventara here don't say no to any animal.
Exactly.
This is so much more stress for the keepers here at Ventara to take care of these animals because these are unhealthy inbred animals. And it puts
That's kind of crazy, Chad, you know, because now I think about it. I've seen some white tigers in zoos, like pretty often. And like this. And now I think about it, maybe they were like seized, you know what I mean? Maybe somebody had them at one point in like the 80s and like they couldn't keep them anymore and then, you know, had to get them up to the zoos and stuff. That's insane.
tons of stress, resources,
Yes.
time, probably heartbreak on the keepers
Exactly.
just to
take care of
But
these
they
animals.
are enjoying now. We are trying to bring them back to the wilderness, because in the wild they'll come across with different fecal matters.
Of course, yeah.
So we are trying to bring them back to their wilderness. So now you can see we have done some of the feeding enrichment on the top of that logs. They'll climb onto that.
They love it. They love it. It's a playground.
Exactly.
It's a
Now
playground.
they
Insane,
are
Chad,
showing
insane.
their natural behavior.
Yep.
Most
Insane.
of our animals are showing the natural behaviors. Climbing, they enjoy the water. You can see the water body. See there?
Oh,
One
yeah,
is
he's
lying
going for
inside
a
the water
swim,
body.
yeah.
They enjoy the water body, everything.
He's
Nipping
having a
everywhere.
swim, he's having a sniff, he's having a climb, they're having a good time.
And moreover, in Vantara, another important part of enrichment is we used to shift these animals to the another paddocks after 2 to 3 months. So they are getting new environment after 2 to 3 months. Always lifelong, he is not here. This group is not here.
Yep.
They'll be moving to another different enclosure every 2 to 3 months.
Wow.
So none of our animal is showing the stereotypic behavior that you can see now.
Right.
So they are enjoying their life in Vantara.
I love
Look
it.
at him.
Even if they're freaks
He's
of
just
nature,
a
they're
big
very
kitty.
beautiful.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Say
Kitty.
in nature you won't find all these. Even we can't say suddenly a mutational change of these to the
Right.
white colors,
Right.
because the mutation means they have to adapt to the environment. Mutation means because there's no tiger, it's adapted to the snowy area to camouflage.
Of course, it's
but
not
the
for
white
this,
tiger
yeah.
means in the forest, white color means it's not a camouflage.
Yep.
They'll be identified some other animals or the human beings and they'll be
Right.
shoot.
Right.
So now that we've seen these insane looking tigers, let's throw the drone up in the air for a giant game of cat and mouse.
What's this, big boy? What's this? So as you can see, these guys are very playful and they want some BE, some behavioral enrichment. So I've got Tommy over here. I'm gonna have him fly the drone and have them chase him around. So go ahead, Tommy, put it up. Practice bird hunting,
Oh,
right?
man.
We got the drone in the air for the tigers to chase. And as you'll see, the tigers are back here right now. Watch what happens when I start running. Come on, get me, big guy. Look at him just going for it. Going for it. I sure hope
That's
that glass
insane,
doesn't
man. I
break.
wouldn't do
If
that.
it does, I am screwed. Let's see
That's
what
insane. I wouldn't do that. That's insane.
happens. Oh, she wants
No
it,
way.
Tommy. She wants it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, she wants it.
Uh-oh.
There you go. Oh boy, you are so close.
Bro's hungry. Look at him.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, look at him. He's climbing the tree. Look at that. How cool is that? He's climbing the tree to go for it. Yeah, go right down. I dare you.
Oh, nah.
Too close. They're going to get it. They're going to get it. Oh, she's looking at it. Hi. Hi. So we're going full tiger play and behavior here. And you can see Tommy's got the drone going over here. And they're loving it. Look, he wants to jump. He wants to eat me. I mean, this is like, for literal circus tigers, these guys are getting such a good lot of stimulation and enrichment now. And it's fun for me. I'm getting all sweaty running around. It's great. Fun for everyone. I like it. All right, let's land the drone. That was awesome. It was a fun little bit for me, fun little bit for the tigers. Look, Vantara is absolutely incredible. We have barely scratched the surface here. There are hundreds of thousands of rescue animals with infinite amounts of stories, troubled past, insane recoveries and recuperations, and we're gonna be coming here as much as we can and showing you guys this insanely exclusive behind the scenes look at what these animals and the amazing people that are working with them are doing. Like, comment, and subscribe below. Let me know what else you'd like to see at Vantara, because I promise you, they've got it.
Well, Chad. Well. What you guys think? W video? I think it was pretty good. I think it was a pretty good video. Yeah, I mean, I think it was a pretty good video. Okay, let me see. What can we do? Okay, I think I found something else.
Let's turn this glass egg into a moss terrarium. I'm starting.
Let me do this.
I've had this unique glass jar.
Let's
sitting
watch
around
this.
for a
Let's watch
couple
this.
years,
You know I
not
like
knowing
the aquarium stuff.
what to do with it. Today I had the idea to turn it into a nano moss terrarium, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get straight into the build, starting with the drainage. I'm using some natural fine pea gravel. This stick with a cork in the end comes in handy to level out the stones.
He's so gentle, man. He's so gentle with it.
With the drainage layer complete,
That's
I can now
insane.
move on to the substrate barrier. I'm placing it under the terrarium and then
There we go.
cutting it down to size. This doesn't have to be perfect whatsoever. With a rough circle cut out, I can now place it on top of the pea gravel. This will stop substrate from getting down into the drainage layer. Talking about substrate, that's what's going in next. I'm using my own terrarium substrate mix, which I use for pretty much all my builds. I'll put all the components up on screen with some links in the description in case you want to try making it yourself.
That's interesting.
I want the substrate to be sloped up really high towards the back, so I'm going to add some more. I'm using the back of my hand to press it down into place.
Okay, I see what he's
With
trying
the
to do.
substrate in,
Presentation.
let's move on to my favourite part, which is the hardscape. I want to create a super simple scape with just one detailed rock as the centerpiece. This is Georock. It's probably the most detailed stone I've came across so far, and I think it'll be perfect for this nano build. I've got a really good selection to choose from, so I'm making sure to take some time to experiment with each piece and find the one that I think looks best. This is the piece that I decided to use. I absolutely love the detail that it brings to the center of this scape.
Okay, yeah, that's a good rock.
Now it's time to bring this terrarium to life with moss. The species that I'm going to use for this build is fern moss. It's an absolutely stunning species and I really should use it more often. I'm using some long tweezers to place it in small chunks at a time. I'm using my hand to gently press it down onto the substrate, as this will help it wick up moisture, which will keep it growing healthy and strong.
There we go. Oh, he's making it like fully moss.
The combination of the
Wow.
detailed centerpiece rock and the wild
Look at that,
foresty
Chad.
look that the moss brings.
Look at that.
I do think that I can add even more detail in a really simple and easy way, so let's do that now. These here are some small twigs that I collected from my garden. Adding these to the terrarium is a really easy and simple way of greatly improving the detail and interest inside the scape. They're a bit big, so I'm cutting them down to a more appropriate size for this terrarium. Before adding the twigs, I feel like the scape is missing a few rocks in the foreground, so I'm going to add them first.
There we go. My question is, how's he
When
going to
adding the
trim
twigs for
everything
details, you've got
when they grow? You know what I mean? That's my question.
a few options that will achieve different looks depending on what design you're going for. You can place them in face down like this, which resembles roots growing over the rocks. Alternatively, and what I'm going to do today, is push the base of the twigs down into the moss. Placing them in like this really resembles small trees that have dropped all their leaves. Make sure to use a variety of sizes, and the more branches that the twigs have, the better they'll look. It's great to see my vision taking shape, but there's a few more steps to do before this terrarium's complete. These tiny bugs, known as springtails, will help keep the terrarium clean and healthy. As I used wooden twigs, it's very likely that they're going to grow mold in the first few weeks. These tiny bugs will eat the mold and recycle it into nutrients that the moss can use to grow. They truly
They're
are
so
the perfect
tiny.
inhabitants for a small terrarium like this one. What I'm going to do now is add some water to the ecosystem. I recommend using a small spray bottle, as it really helps prevent overwatering. I absolutely love how this terrarium's turned out, and although it's probably one of my most simple builds, it definitely doesn't lack in detail. If you found this video useful, you might be interested in my terrarium making ebook. It's perfect for anyone new to terrarium making.
I see you,
I'll
bro.
put a link
I
in the
see you.
description. As always, I hope you enjoyed this
mini
video,
moss
and thank you for
cubes.
watching.
New home for tiny creatures, concrete jungle, waterfall, paludarium. Ooh, what is this?
Hi folks, my name is Adam and I like to make tiny nerdy things, and Realistic Poketober continues with an all-time fan favorite, Gyarados.
What?
So last week I made a
What is that? Oh, it's a Pokemon? Okay.
skeletonless Arbok, and it turned out pretty darn okay. However, as we get closer to Halloween, I feel like I need to hit that spooky skeleton quota, so this week I'm going to make sure to give Gary an all-aluminium skeleton. Functionally, it's not necessary, but I've eaten a lot of takeout recently, so I have a surplus of foil lying around begging to be used. I've wrapped the foil in a layer of clay, then I can start to lay out the segmented sections. Now Gyarados' original design goes for a very multi-spherical style, and while I'm going to make this a lot more
Oh,
scaly
that
looking,
Pokemon.
I still want
That
to keep
one's
those
pretty cool.
obvious body sections. Once I've cut my sections out, I'll soften the edges, then pinch the center in to make it a bit more streamlined. Finally, I'll come back through with a variety of tools to scuff up and mark up the surface to really make Gary look like he's been through some stuff. Even though there's nothing in the ocean, it always seems like sea creatures are covered in scuff marks and battle wounds. I'm not really sure what they're bumping into down there, but at least it makes for a bit more of an interesting texture. I'm also working in sections so that I can more easily handle this long boy, so I've baked the body once to lock the clay in place before I add the upper crust of the body. I'll lay a thin layer down over top, then cut it to width before blending it in. Now I want to make his top half a bit sharper, so I'm going to add a few extra long, extra chunky wormy dealies along his center line and the sides before blending them in to create a uniform surface. Then using the segmented lines on his belly as a guide, I can start to bring that line up across the back to connect around the other side. Then, same as I did with the belly, I can soften up the sharper edges to create more obvious segmentations. Then I can add all the little scuff marks and surface details. Once I'm happy with the detail, it's into the oven again to lock it all in place, and I can get started on his head. I'll smoosh an oblong egg onto the tip of the body, cut a mouth line down the middle, then get to work adding some facial details. Same as with the rest of the body, I want to keep the general aesthetic of Gary in place while trending a bit more towards something with a bit less of an underbite. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not throwing shade at Gary's underbite. I love his underbite. I think it's endearing as heck. It's just not quite in fitting with the idea I have in my mind. Of course, one of his most important features is his little spiky tri-brow, so I've made sure to add that. Once I'm happy with the placement, I can poke some eye holes for his eyeballs, drop them in place, toughen up his orbital ridge, then add some of his extra side spikes. Now looking back, I probably should have saved his tri-brow for last, since it's a pain to have to work around and it literally just sits on top of everything. But I was anxious to see how much it would make him look like a proper Gyarados at this point, so I threw it on extra early. Once I poked a couple smelling holes, I can get to work building up the inside of his mouth. I'm fresh off of making a snake, and Gyarados is kind of like a snake, so I'm just going to go ahead with the snake-style internal mouth parts. I tried a few different ways of incorporating his hilariously oversized lips, but I couldn't figure out a way to make him not look goofy, so I just ended up painting them on afterwards as markings. For now though, I'll poke a whole bunch of holes into his gums so I can give him a beautiful set of perfectly lined up teeth.
Look at that, chat. The attention to detail is insane.
For the colored scales that run along the length of his body, I thought maybe I could make colored scales that run along
I
the
would
length
buy
of
this,
his
chat.
body.
I would buy this.
I am, however, gonna make these ones sit on top of his body rather than just look like a slight discoloration. Then, of course, they get all nicked and banged up as well. To make the fins that attach behind his head, I'll take a thin sheet of clay, cut a circle out of it, then have that circle. Then using the old pinchy rolly technique, I'll form those semicircles into passable head fins.
Wow.
I'll make his tongue by rolling a ball into a tongue-shaped blob, then cut a line down the middle and add some rolly textures and some grooves, then I'll jam it into the back of Gary's gob. To make the fin on the tip of the tail, I've squished out a flat of sheet clay, which I can then use as the bottom of my clay and armature wire sandwich, out of which I can cut the various tail-like shaped shapes into. I'll build up the center of the tail, then peel it off my baking tray and do the old ball stylus rolly technique to give it a nice wavy texture.
Ooh, that's nice.
Then I'll snip the tip of the tail off so that I can stick my fin in place, bend it into an adequately action-y pose, then fill in the exposed wire.
Oh, we gotta do
we gotta do
ad break, chat. We gotta do an ad break. There you guys go. Ad break. Get some water, go to the bathroom, you know, do what you gotta do. We're taking an ad break. There you go. Let me check my phone real quick. Hold on. Here. Okay. Okay. Let me check this. Do. What is this? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Alright. I'll wait for a little bit for you guys. No worries, no worries. You know, I got you guys. I'll wait. No worries. What is that? No. Gotta check my other stuff. Mm-hmm. Recently, I've been like checking analytics a lot more. And because like I'm just like, did this work? Did that work? Did this piece of content work? Did that piece of content work? What's picking up? You know what I mean? It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Let's see here. Okay, we got a minute on the ads. All right. Let's wait it out. What the? Load. Load. Okay. The minute is about to end. It's about to end. Come on. Come on. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. Back to
Continuing the segmented pattern up to the tip of the fin. Gary's got some spiky, spiny things sticking out of his back that I think might be fins, but I don't want to make fins anymore, so instead I'm going to give him a set of spiky, spiny things. I figured if spiky, spiny things are good enough for Godzilla, then they're damn well good enough for Garyzilla.
I want to see him make
Otherwise, the only thing
Godzilla
left to do is
actually.
give him his little dangly double beard hairs that hang down the side of his face, which I made by bending a little wire into the appropriate shape and jamming into his jaw. Otherwise, he's finished and ready for some paint. I'll give him a quick once over with a bone white primer to help the subsequent layers adhere a little bit better to the clay. Then I can paint his underside with a very nearly white off-white. I'm going to try and stick to the original color scheme, so I'll give his fins a white coat, the side scales will get the same color as his underside, and then the spiky spiny things will be white as well. However, I decided if I'm going to make a realistic Gyarados, then why not make the shiny version? To that end, instead of blue, he's going to get a deep blood red base coat on his top half.
Whoa.
Now to roughen up the underside and bring it a little closer to the original artwork and to help add some shading, I'm going to give the underside a dirty brown wash. However, I decided that the white spiky spiny things on the fins looked a little bit too out of place, so I ended up using the same wash on them, but then I sponged off any of the excess, so I was left with a nice brown to white gradient.
Oh,
I'll paint
he
his
looks
mouth and tongue with
filthy.
varying pinks, reds,
In
and
the
purples
best
till
way
it looks
possible.
Kinda like a mouth. Then I'll paint the teeth with a white base coat, followed by the same brown wash that gets wiped off to leave a lovely, gnarly discoloration. Finally, I'll give his eyes a black base coat followed by a white top coat, and then it's time to make him some lunch. I thought it'd be a bit boring to have Gary just swimming through the water all by his lonesome, so I decided that maybe he ought to be out hunting something. And then I settled on the tastiest looking water Pokemon, Spheal. Actually, I was running out of time to finish this, so I was trying to think of which Pokemon would be the easiest to make, and I figured Spheal is basically just a sphere with a face and a tail, which is why I ended up on him. Besides, a realistic Spheal is just a morbidly obese seal, so making a tiny version of that was both thematically and technically appropriate. Otherwise, with my Spheal sculpted, painted, and looking chonky AF, I realized I would be doing myself and everyone else a great disservice if I didn't also take the time to make a teeny tiny school of Magikarp as well. And by
Ooh.
school, I mean about 6 of them, since it's more like one of those really rural schools that caters to a very small community of local farmers and has a graduating class of about 4 kids each year. To make the handling of these tiny fish possible, I'll start by sculpting their heads first by chopping some tiny balls in half and then sticking them to the flat of my fancy cheese knife. Then I can start adding the itty bitty important Magikarp details.
Look at that,
like
Chad.
a great big mouth, relatively big eyeballs, and a big floppy tongue. Then I'll cure the clay with a heat gun so that I can pop them off my knife and I can get to work adding their back ends. The little oblong eggs stuck to the flat of their heads will be the body, and then I'll texture that using this diamond pattern on my scalpel. Then I'll go about adding the teeny tiny pre-baked fins before priming them white and moving on to the painting. Now 2022 isn't quite finished yet, but I already know that my greatest regret of the year is having not made the little yellow Magikarp mustaches. I tried a couple different materials, but they were all too fat or flimsy, and I ended up giving up on them. In hindsight, I probably could have made them out of teeny tiny wormy dealies, but hindsight is 2020, and 2020 was a terrible year for everyone, so I just want to move on. And to help me move on, I'm gonna take a hot minute to peel some plastic wrap off of some acrylic sheets.
Ooh. Look at that. Ooh. 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 That is satisfying. Clean.
The Perspex sheet will of course be my frame for the troubling amount of resin I plan to pour, but this time I'm gonna try something a bit different. Normally I seal all my molds with hot glue and it inevitably leaks and makes me very sad. This time, however, my idea is to use silicone caulking, which is a waterproof sealant and adhesive used in bathrooms, as a waterproof sealant and adhesive for my resin mold. Also, to help suspend everyone in the resin, I picked up some of this clear fishing line in the hopes that it will be less visible than the acrylic rods. I'll drape it over the sides of the mold, then clamp the ends in place and lay Gary down on top of the line. The little UV resin will hold it to the top of Spheal so that I can dangle him down in front. Then I could attach all the Magikarps around Gary, either using his body as an anchor or hanging them from some stir sticks draped across the mold. Once they're all in place, it's time to mix some resin.
There we go.
Due to poor planning, Gary ended up being a lot bigger than I had originally expected, which means I ended up having to pour almost 6 liters of resin. I don't have a big enough mixing container for that, so instead I'm going to mix up 3 equally sized cups and tint them using the same amount of ink. I'm not really sure if it's a good idea or not, but I like to live life on the edge. After all, like the kids say, you only YOLO once.
You only YOLO once.
And with my 3 pots looking clean and bubble free, I can start the ever stressful task of encasing a week's
Look at
worth
that,
of
Chad.
work
Wow.
inside a month's rent worth of resin, then set it aside and hope for the best.
That is beautiful.
72 hours later though, I can breathe an audible sigh of relief. Now as for the fishing line, it worked perfectly, except for this strand here, which is completely visible for reasons that I do not understand. All the other ones are basically invisible, but this one is as clear as day.
How?
Whatever, I'll just Photoshop that out of the thumbnail and then hope that at this point you're too invested to turn back.
Oh man.
Otherwise,
that's
I can start
dirty
removing
work.
the clamps before getting to the best part of any resin-related pour, removing the mold.
Ooh. This is scary, Chad. This part is scary. Ooh.
I'll then snip the tips of the fishing line flush with the water line, then I can use a sharp knife to remove the excess resin that's creeped up the sides of the mold. Finally, the absolute last thing to do is add some waves on top, which I'll make using the exact same silicone I used to seal my mold. This stuff is my go-to for most water effects since it dries crystal clear and it's easy to manipulate with a few squirts of alcohol on a fingertip. I'm not going to add any white caps to the waves though, since the waves on top are really only going to be used to add
Look
some
at the
light
effect,
refraction
Chad.
to the
Wow.
resin underneath. Otherwise, once the silicone is cured, we're all finished here and on to the glamour shots.
Whoa. Ooh, that's kind of badass though. That's kind of badass. Even with the fishing line, I think it makes it badass still. Ooh.
As always, a big old thank you to my lovely,
What do you think, Chad? What do you
patrons,
think?
and a very special shout
W
out to
or
my
L?
newest patrons.
W or
Vanilla
L? What do you guys
Swimmer,
think?
Kaina, Theome, Mary Helen Burns, Macaroni
W
Fun,
or
Scott
L,
Moore,
Chad?
Riley
W or
Meek,
L?
The Cat Murgatroyd, Kylie Jasper, Technoblade Never Dies, David Vavro,
Okay, let's
Adrian
see.
Lutz,
Let's see what else we
Matthew
got.
Radke, Phoenix Gladden, Love You Reese and Philomena, Nick Marinello, Christopher Kiriazis, Edelon, Nick, and Nora and Eliza K. You were the gallons of blue syrup that this channel floats within. As always, if you like this video, then something, liking, smashing, and subscribing,
I'm
and notifying, and all
looking.
that jazz. Otherwise,
Ooh, I
we'll
gotta save
see you
this one
next
for
time.
later. Gotta watch
Cheers.
that. let's watch this. Let's watch this one, chat. Oh wait. Before that,
Hey, folks.
I'll put that in a different thing because I found something else I want to watch too. Ooh. This one. Should I do this one? This one looks kind of cool. Can't go do that. What else did I see? What else did I see? Okay, this is nice. This is nice too. Okay, there we go. Okay.
This is Mr. Krabs. I bought him from the grocery store.
Let's
where
watch
he
this
was
one,
going to
Chad.
be
Let's watch
boiled
this one.
alive and eaten. But that wasn't my plan for Mr. Krabs. Now
I have been following this thing for a while now. And that's where I came up with the idea of like, oh, maybe I should rescue the catfish and like try and raise up the catfish instead of like, you know, letting the catfish be there and be like someone's food.
No, I could have eaten this crab by now, but instead I decided to keep him as my
What do you guys think, Chad? What do you guys think? Should I do it? Should I rescue the catfish?
pet right next to my desk. But Mr. Krabs at the moment is very weak and on his
Oh,
last
no.
limbs, so it's going to be a long shot whether I can actually save Mr. Krabs or not. So to get Mr. Krabs, I went to the grocery market. Most likely, these crabs are going to be eaten or boiled up for some soup. To see what condition they're in, I poked one to see if it would move. But he did not seem to move, which made me think they weren't doing very well and they were probably going to die soon. So I started picking at these crabs and one of them started running away. But when I grabbed him, I looked at his claw and realized that there was a big crack on it. So this guy was pretty banged up, but he was the one that I chose. Then I put him inside of a bag so I could buy him. Now that we have purchased our weak, injured crab, I brought it back to my truck.
Okay, so I got this water from the actual tank. It's still real cold. That's very good. We gotta find our crab. Oh my god. Okay, he's still cold, so I
Is
mean,
he
I
still
guess that's
alive?
good. Let me try to bring him out. You can see his mouth is moving. That's the only thing I see that's moving. Okay, he looks really weak. Oh, look at that crack on his shell.
Oh, nah.
Barely moving. I'm gonna put him in the water.
As I first put him in the tank, he shows little signs of strength.
Ooh.
But at the same time, he let out a few bubbles, but he wasn't moving that much.
I think he might be missing a leg too.
To see if it was a male or female, I flipped him over on his back to look. And this one is a male. You can tell because the females have a rounded bottom and the males have a sharper one.
Okay, we're gonna go home as fast as we can so we can put him in the tank. We're on the road right now, there's a lot of traffic, but there he is. He's just in the back cooler. He's buckled in.
It was a 30-minute drive home, but luckily he was in a cooler, so he stayed cool.
We just got home. Gotta go see how he's doing. My god.
Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Ooh.
At first glance, obviously he wasn't moving, but if you look closely, you can see that he's breathing, which is a good
He's
sign.
alive,
And
Dad.
then he
He's
started
alive.
moving just a
He's
little
alive.
bit. But even then, I didn't want to waste any time, so I grabbed him and brought him inside of my room.
Ooh, let's go. Let's go.
Water, put it inside this container. Alright, this water is fresh from this tank, so we're gonna acclimate him and also see how he's doing. Oh,
let me out of this cooler. I will kill you.
Oh my god.
While Mr. Krabs is acclimating in his tank, I wanted to show you guys something. If you remember our leopard gecko from the Walmart video, he now has his very own shirt. I also have shirts with more
with the
animals I've made
merch?
videos on
That's
as
mad
well.
work.
Plus these t-shirts link in the narrator to feed oxygen in his water. This will indeed help
Wait,
Mr.
what?
Krabs
Wait, what?
acclimate. I got my link in the description below. But anyways, back to the video. So as Mr. Krabs
Ooh, feed
acclimates,
pig.
I got this aerator to feed oxygen in his water. This will indeed help him breathe. But while he's just resting in his cooler, I scoop in the aquarium water so he can feel comfortable when he actually goes in his new home.
Alright, we're gonna leave him in here for about 10 minutes or so, let him get comfortable to this water, and then we'll put him inside the tank.
If you guys remember from last video, I had a bunch of squid that laid a bunch of eggs, but unfortunately
Those
the
are
rock
squid
crab
eggs,
would
bro. Those are squid eggs?
eat these eggs, so I have to make a cage to cover
they
them
look
up.
like
For
snot.
this idea, I used a bunch of egg crates and I basically made a little box. The squid eggs still need water flow, but the holes in the cage allowed a good amount of flow in.
But as you can see, I don't have many hiding places in this tank. I got some rocks, and I'm just gonna plant these around the tank.
And if you're wondering where our spot prawn shrimp went, well, I scooped both of them out of the tank and put them inside of a bucket. I did a lot of research on their environment
That guy's
in
a
the
jumper.
open water, found out where they live, and drove there. And yes, I did acclimate the shrimp in this bucket for you acclimation freaks out there, Jesus. And I brought them out in the middle of the ocean where they're usually found. Then I released them back into the ocean together. Now that Mr. Krabs has been in here for about 10 minutes, I wanted to take like a real close-up to see if he was injured at all. But the first thing I saw was this decent sized crack on one of his claws. Mr. Krabs can heal this cracked shell through a process called molting. And I took a look underneath him and I saw that he has a lost leg right here. For these types of crabs, it can take up to a year to grow back. Lastly, I took a look at his back legs and I realized that this is his second leg that he's lost. Pretty unfortunate, but he can make do with what he's got.
This crab has been through a lot, I'll just tell you guys that.
Nah,
As
man,
I
this
poured the
guy's
last
a
remaining cupfuls on
trooper.
Mr. Krabs, it was about time to put
Crab
him in
is
in
a
about 5 minutes.
chat.
Alright, it is now time.
At this time, the acclimation has now been completed.
Here we go, boy.
So I lifted Mr. Krabs out of his cooler and then put him inside of the tank. But right off the bat, he didn't even do anything and he did not look good at all. Although he did give a few little twitches and movements, he wasn't doing the best and is very, very weak. As 5 minutes went by, he did hit a little 180 and then he stopped moving until he started doing this. He was spazzing and tweaking out like a tweaker. So this is day 1 of him being inside of this tank, and honestly, he does look like he's gotten a bit better. You know, a little bit of movement here and there. But I wanted Mr. Krabs to settle in his new home before I feed him. These crabs are also known to survive without eating for weeks at a time. But Mr. Krabs is definitely stressful right now, so I turned off his light.
Alright guys, it's about 1 a.m. The crab has been in here for about 7 hours.
Mr. Krabs hasn't moved from this one spot and it kind of worried me. Most of the movement I got was with his little mouth to signify that he's breathing.
Alright, it's now time for bedtime, so good night, Mr. Krabs.
Dang, man, I hope he's
guys,
okay.
It is now the next day at
I hope he's okay.
2:12 p.m. And as you can see, Mr. Krabs is in the same exact spot. I've been watching him all morning. I mean, he is still moving, so... Alright, I'm gonna nudge him to see if I can get any reaction to see what state he's in.
As you can see, he was still decently aware, which is okay, but nowhere where I want him to be yet.
He's still
so
traumatized,
Mr. Krabs right now
man.
is definitely very weak, and I know he's pretty hungry,
guy.
which I'm going to feed him in a second.
Guys, I just caught him adjusting. Look at this. I think he's about to bury himself in the sand.
This is a normal behavior that they usually do, and they do this to hide from predators. But you can definitely tell that he gave an effort to bury himself, and then he pretty much gave out and stopped moving. Mr. Krabs' behavior right now is definitely leaving me worried, so I did a little bit of research. I first noticed that Mr. Krabs' shell was kind of pale. Compared to other crabs, his shell should be way darker than this. So I looked it up on Google and this is what it said. Apparently, Mr. Krabs is molting or he's just really hungry. Apparently, when crabs are molting, they don't really move much to conserve energy for when they molt. So I assume that molting is something that he could be doing, but he also came from the grocery market and got all banged up in there, so that's also probably why he's like that.
So since Mr. Krabs hasn't eaten in a very long time, I got this piece of anchovy and I'm gonna see if Mr. Krabs will have any interest in eating. Going in.
Now at this time, I don't think Mr. Krabs realized that there was food in front of him, but as the scent of the anchovy lingered, I think he got a little hint.
Ooh, he's hungry. Look at him.
God. Jesus. Oh my god. Here, Mr. Krabs, just take it. I'll put it in your claw. Oh my god.
He got
At
it.
last, this was probably his first meal in weeks.
He just snatched that. And of course he's eating it behind a rock where I can't see.
Mr. Krabs showing all the excitement and actually finally eating, this definitely releases a lot of stress off of my chest.
He's just a hungry guy.
And look how many snails there are. So since Mr. Krabs just absolutely annihilated that piece of anchovy, I got 2 more pieces. Number 2.
And right off the bat, you can see how excited Mr. Krabs was to see a piece of fish to eat.
That was funny.
Alright, so the anchovy he just ate just left a bunch of particles
Did not
in the
expect
water,
that.
but luckily for these snails, they'll clean all that up.
After this meal, I let him
Oh
chill
my god, chat. Should I do like cooking videos and stuff? I was thinking about it. It's kind of weird me mentioning it now with the crab and shit, but like I was thinking about it.
out for the rest of the day so he can get some rest.
Alright guys, so it's the next day and take a look at Mr. Krabs. He seems to be doing very good today and a lot more active than usual.
This was kind of the first time I've seen Mr. Krabs like roam around and walk, but basically he just went to the end of the tank and back.
I see you. Don't be all slick now, boy. I will pinch your wang when you sleep, retard.
Yo. Oh.
But most of the time I see him, he's just staying put and not really moving. And because of that, I'm still assuming that he's going to molt pretty soon, and at the same time, his shell is still pretty pale. Throughout the next few days, I didn't really do much besides watch him and feed him. I assume being in those crab pens really messed him up, but the goal here is to get him back on his feet. These crabs really love to be in intertidal zones all the way up to 300 feet deep. But until Mr. Krabs can regain his health and maybe molt if that's the case, he's gonna be resting in here healing until he's strong enough to get released back in his habitat.
And also, don't forget to check out the new merch that I have. All these designs are from animals that we've done on our
that's
YouTube
it?
channel,
Yeah,
so
that's
be sure
it.
to check them all out.
That's it, chat. Okay, let's look at some. You guys want to look at some cooking?
The other night I was about to order takeout and then I remembered I can literally make the most amazing ramen in under 30 minutes. I'm gonna use the curry bulldog noodles because I like the flavor
Bro,
and
the bulldog is insane, bro, but it's so spicy.
Combine an egg yolk, make sure you save the egg whites for breakfast tomorrow along with the seasoning packet, the sauce packet, Kewpie mayo, freshly minced garlic, sesame oil, and mix it all together. Boil your noodles for about 3 to 4 minutes, then take a couple tablespoons of that hot water and add it to the base. Whisk it all together, then add in the cooked noodles. You could just serve this up with some runny eggs, but I was feeling fancy and since I already had some steak defrosting, I went ahead and cooked that up as well to serve on top of the ramen. Then just assemble your bowl, adding in that leftover boiling noodle water to create the broth, top it with sesame seeds, lime juice, and enjoy. The other night,
No, that is insane, chat. What?
On episode 26 of Potatoes, 100 different ways, I'm making pub potatoes.
On episode 1 of making pub potatoes, I'm making pub potatoes.
Boil in well-seasoned vegetable broth just until potatoes are slightly tender.
Boil in well-seasoned vegan broth until slightly tender.
Transfer to a bowl and give them a swish to rough up the surface for some texture.
Just toss it around like that.
Oil, garlic, rosemary, and pepper to a pan.
My never-ending duck fat, garlic, and rosemary to a pan.
Once the oil is infused, pour just the oil over the potatoes.
Pour just the oil into a dish and put in just the potatoes.
Roast and toss every 30 minutes until golden brown and crispy.
I'm just gonna toss it once. I don't feel like getting a potato facial every 30 minutes.
Add the garlic and rosemary to the potatoes at the end and finish with salt and parm.
Add back the garlic and rosemary, finish with salt. We'll mix that up a little bit, give it a taste, and rate it 1 through 10. I mean, it tastes amazing, 9 out of 10, but what's the difference between this and deep frying? Alright, thank you.
A ton of people are mad at me for stealing images based on this video that didn't credit me and falsely claimed that my stickers were just famous paintings. So let's clear that up. My stickers are prints of my own hand-painted work. Most are completely original, but a few are repainted versions of public domain art. Based on some of these comments, it seems like a lot of people don't actually know what public domain art means. Their works are no longer under copyright, usually because the artist died over 70 years ago, like this one based on a portrait of Dido from 1778. So they can legally be reused, remixed, or sold by anyone. So no, I'm not stealing art. You can relax.
I'm hungry, so let's make some burritos.
Why am I getting ramen videos, bro? Why am I getting ramen videos?
I bought this in Korea and I brought it all the way back to Australia with me since they don't sell it outside of Korea, I think.
Bro,
I
this
was
is
so
making me hungry,
at this point.
bro.
It was 2 p.m. and I was getting impatient even though noodles don't even take long to cook. I don't find this flavor spicy, but it does have a smokiness to it from the bacon or the ham. I personally like the glass noodles version better, but I still scoff this down. I'm
Damn,
You
this
took
should
out
make
the
me
guitar
hungry.
and you said to the jury, you think I ripped off this song? I'm going to show you how similar things can be.
So my one is when your legs don't work like they used to before. And then there's people get ready. There's a train coming. I guess you say there was 101 songs. If you say a song in 1973 owns this, then what about all the songs that came before? We found songs from the 1700s, and then there was huge songs in the 50s and 60s. You just can't copyright a chord sequence.
You took out
He's so right. He's right, chat. He's right. The whole point of music is like, it's a give and take, you know what I mean? You get inspired from other people's songs. It just happens. You know? It's just what happens. That's exactly what happens, you know? You just get inspired, and that's the whole truth of it.
Let's just get right to it. What I hear, it bit the head off a bat. There, I said it.
It wasn't Batman. I remember when he did that. I remember when he did that. That was insane.
And it was like a bat.
Let's just get right.
My autistic special interest is Mr. Beast's teeth. His teeth have
What?
changed many times. His teeth change in the one video. Okay. Enhance. A normal human smile, we have some unevenness, a normal tooth situation. This is the next bit in this episode. This is literally the next segment.
None
Okay.
can jump higher than him. And he's going to be going against this.
Look at my boy's fucking chiclets. You see what I'm
He's
saying,
got
bro?
perfect
Who is this? Okay.
veneers, Chad. Veneers.
Oh,
Veneers.
again, it's not that weird, but this is like the 4th time he's done.
Veneers.
This is such a good shot. That is a full
1,000%
top-teeth
veneers.
Like that is a like
1,000%.
completely. They're so obviously fake. Later in the video, they're back to normal again. Look at this in this scene.
Bruh. Oh my god. Veneers.
My autistic.
The derma roller uses needles and is one of the best treatments.
These ice cubes have solved a.
The derma
Yeah, I have a
roller uses
balding
needles
problem, so
and is
like
one of the best
I
treatments
have a balding problem. Okay, I'm trying to get it fixed.
against hair loss. But here's what most people do wrong. First, you need to choose the correct needle size.
But I've heard like the best thing is like a microneedling pen, a derma pen, instead of like the rollers, because the rollers are like pretty bad.
These ice cubes have solved a serious problem for me.
So my family eats a lot of chicken, and it's a much better deal to buy whole chicken and butcher it yourself versus buying pre-butchered pieces. But to make whole chicken worth the money, I have to take advantage of everything, including this carcass. So I like to throw it in the air fryer along with the wings and roast them until they're golden brown. Then I'll pop them in my pressure cooker and turn it into beautiful roasted chicken stock. But when you're buying whole chicken every week, this quickly becomes a lot of chicken stock clogging up the freezer. But I figured out a solution. I'll take the stock and reduce it down by about 80 to 90% until I have just enough to fill up one of these large ice cube trays, which I'll then freeze overnight, and boom, you have a much fresher homemade chicken bouillon cube. I'll package the cubes in a freezer bag, saving me about 95% of the space in my freezer. Then when I'm making something that needs stock, I'll pop out one of those frozen cubes, throw it in the soup or stew, dilute it with water,
That's
and
smart.
my freezer space problem is solved.
What
That's
is
smart.
Akon's full name? I hated that I drew this godly statue portrait on Photoshop because I wanted it in the real world. Easy solution. Just print it out, then cover a piece of wood with matte medium, push the printout onto the medium, and do another coat on top. After it's dry, use water and a wire brush to scrub all of the paper material away. Once you've scrubbed the devil out of it, you'll see the transfer of the printout on the wood. Now it's time for some touch-ups. You can take this part as far as you want. If you want a more distressed look, then just leave it as is. I cleaned it up for about 45 minutes, adding some lights and dark values, making it pop, while keeping some of that distress. If you want to learn more about drawing and painting, I'm the art coach. Hit the follow button.
Most people don't know this, but papaya can alter your fingertips. The milky latex in unripe papaya is loaded with something called papain. It's an enzyme that breaks down proteins. That's why it's used in certain meat tenderizers. If you rub it on your hands long enough, it starts to soften the surface of your fingertips, temporarily blurring the appearance of your fingerprint ridges. Papain slices apart proteins. That's why it's used in skincare to exfoliate. Even the seeds are crushed and mixed with wasabi in some cultures to flush out parasites.
that.
During World War II, some soldiers
know
in the
that.
Pacific reportedly used papaya leaves to tenderize tough meat. It's when rations were.
It's a Tyler Discord. Do you tune in? I do.
Hold on. I heard some bullshit. Yeah, I heard some bullshit.
What do you do? I do not approve. How did you find out about this? Cause man, kids is weird, man. Someone pulled me to the side in a Whole Foods like, hey dog, check this out. Bro, the that they posting, bro, is scary. It's a Tyler Discord. Do you tune in?
Did you know that if you add 3 eggs to 3 bananas?
Didn't know that.
I was asked, do you only eat Japanese food? Thank you for your question, and no. I definitely eat food from other countries, but this is a Japanese food channel, so I try to keep everything at least somewhat related to Japan. That being said, most of the non-Japanese food I eat daily isn't exactly worth filming. Imagine if I started making videos like, okay everyone, today we're gonna scramble an egg. That kind of content is just boring in my opinion. But this is a channel guided by the viewers, so I always try my best to make something recommended by one of you, unless it sounds nasty, which it usually does. Please stop asking me to make hot dog sushi. I'll only make something crazy like that if it gets enough likes in the comments. I was asked,
One of us used to be on steroids, and one of us has a connective tissue disorder that makes us more flexible. Who's who?
I have hypermobile EDS.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't on anabolic steroids. It was for my asthma, I promise.
Hypermobile EDS is a connective tissue disorder where the
What
tissues
the
are stretched
hell is he doing? What did the freak
than normal. And these tissues
is
are
this?
everywhere in your body. People that have this are generally super flexible without training.
Believe it or not, I do not have hypermobile EDS. I did not start out this flexible, but after quite a bit of training, I got here.
It may seem like free flexibility is a good thing, but there are downsides. Random pain, vascular issues, dizzy spells, funky vision, stomach issues, and there are way more things that other people experience.
If you have a tissue disorder,
you on a raft in the middle of the ocean.
We all took pictures with him.
The idea that Kanye West.
This Gigamax instant noodle is so big, there's a warning label to limit yourself to only one a day. I skipped both breakfast and lunch just to make room for this monster. Unlike most instant noodles, these are eaten without
this would take me out, bro. This would take me
any
out.
broth. Inside you get 2 massive bricks of noodles plus cabbage and meat. I'll fill it to the line with hot water. This part took forever. Surprisingly, the cook time is just 3 minutes. Once it's ready, you use the built-in strainer to drain out all the water. Then it's time for the sauce packet, which goes right on top, followed by a few seasoning packets. But I couldn't stop there. I added even more. Extra sauces, fish flakes, and seaweed flakes. Now this is what I call Gigamax noodles. There's enough food here to feed a small village. This Gigamax
Oh, they got my foam runners. You got size 10? Ooh, yeah, let me get a size 10 of this. This is the first one I'm getting. Size 10 of this color. Let's go. So, I literally got them on right now, y'all.
Hey.
Bro, they got colors I never seen before. Hey, let me get a size 10 of these too. Size 10 of these too. These are fucking fire, bro. 10. Yeah, me 10. I never seen these, bro, like nowhere. Size 10? Let me try them on. First shop of the day. These do not look like size 10, bro. These look way different. One more size up. Can you what? Can you touch my nose? Now, bro, now these are too big. You know what? Hey, you know what? Let me get these. Yeah, these. Let me get these. Let me buy these too. I want to buy these too. Ooh, they got my phone run.
Hey, yo.
These are rappers' favorite fat.
This is 200 calories of freshly squeezed orange juice. This is.
Can you shake the bottle?
Why am I getting ramen? Okay, let's
Digital
see what else
or traditional?
Okay, saving that for later.
Hiya folks, my name is
let's watch this, chat. Let's watch this.
Things, and this video is sponsored by Bandai Namco.
Wait, actually, let's watch this instead.
They are filled with the most fascinating creatures.
Okay,
on
this
our
looks
planet.
interesting,
and
chat.
I live in
This
the
looks
opposite
interesting.
place.
I hate it so much.
Today I want to find out if it's possible to design an ecosystem that not only looks like paradise, but acts like it too. I'll be doing that by adding one incredible creature after another.
Go.
Until we truly find balance.
Oh, it does tickle.
What
But
is he
so
doing?
far, things are off to a rough start for our largest and whitest creature. Because nobody seems to know what a beach looks like.
Now you have your very own mini beach aquarium to enjoy.
I'm seeing people make beaches and they're just bad fish tanks. So I'm thinking if I want to make a tank that actually feels like a beach, I need better inspiration. So I boarded a plane. I got my leg hair, pulled the whole flight.
What the hell?
And I went right to the source. You know, I might not live in paradise, but I can take little pieces of inspiration from the real thing to use inside of our setup.
This is exactly what we want.
Ocean, butting right up against the land. If we can recreate this, the possibilities for what we can add are endless. I'll be back for you. But in order to make this, we first need a good foundation. Rocks. Weefwax. Followed by a real healthy portion of live sand. And of course, some salt water.
Okay.
And next to my salad dressing is our first creature.
What the?
Plankton.
Why was it in the fridge?
Plankton are in every ocean on the planet. Safe? It'll be their job to multiply and eventually go on to feed some of the next 26 creatures.
What?
Why 26? There's literally no reason. I just like animals. Not everything needs meaning.
No, that's a good reason.
Next up, we're adding live rock, which is filled with beneficial bacteria. But every once in a while, something a little bit bigger hitches a ride. Some are harmless, like this Stomatella snail. Some are debatably annoying, like this Asterina starfish.
He's
But
got
some
starfish?
are undeniably evil, like this nudibranch. But I didn't know it at the time, so I left it alone while I focused on the other side of the tank. I'm building up the land using a sandy soil, and then I'm putting in a little cave for... Oh no! Remember that if we want this, we need plants, so I'm putting some in that either won't touch the soil or whose roots can handle a little bit of salt. The ocean side is getting some plants too. Mangroves above the water and macroalgae below. This caulerpa should take off if our water chemistry is right. And perfect water is even more important for coral, which is actually not a plant but an animal. And under the right conditions, they will thrive.
Look at that, Chad. Wow.
That's their little mouth. And those mouths need to eat. But they won't be smiling for long, because now there is trouble in paradise. And no, it's not the iguana who dragged his cloaca across our picnic.
Mom.
The issue is with the tank.
It is filled. Oh no.
Please do not tell me our too heavy to move tank is f***ing leaking.
No.
Oh,
this was supposed to be an escape from this.
Oh.
And now, somehow, this is worse.
It's all water down here.
But some good news.
Go.
Tanner, who is a legend who made this tank, said a leak is not possible. So now I think I know what is causing this issue.
Move.
Pretend that these cups are the two sides of our tank, and this is a rope. Left alone, water will wick across the rope to even itself out. Water is soaking onto the rocks, creeping across the sand, and trying to balance out the water level. Well, you know what, Ocean? Stop being so ambitious. You're ruining my project.
Oh, man.
The plants can handle a little bit of salt, but not be fully submerged. So I'm emptying out all of the substrate, and I'm putting in a little acrylic divider. The water cannot wick if it's not touching the sand. I am so confident that this will work that I'm building back the land and planting new vegetation right away. And now, this new neighborhood needs a resident.
There we go. Problem solving.
Isopods. When they're not curled up in fear, they'll help by eating decomposing plants.
Ew.
While the springtails will help take care of the mold.
Ew.
Unfortunately, for the last 2 weeks, all of my attention has been on fixing the land, and in that time, the ocean has become a disgusting mess of algae.
My god, look at that.
So,
no way.
I'm bringing in some ocean interns. Unpaid, of course. Enter hermit crabs.
Huh?
It'll be their job to clean the sandbed. But occasionally, they get bold and manifest destiny their way up the rocks. However, they are useless at cleaning glass. That's the job of the snails, the Roombas of the ocean. They'll suck first and ask questions later. Honestly, same. If sucking were a competitive sport, then this guy would win the Olympics because he is no normal show.
Pause.
Meet the fighting conch.
Why is it freaky?
Who I put upside down on purpose so you can see this. They use a little foot called an operculum to flip themselves over.
Oh, nice.
And it's also great for swatting away anyone
Look at
who
its
annoys them.
eye, bro. That's insane.
Yet somehow, that's their least interesting appendage. That little trunk-looking nose is actually a specialized feeding organ called a radula. The conch will keep the tank looking clean, which gives me time to pick out some fish.
Hey, yo.
And in a tank like ours, the possibilities are massive. Like maybe we could get a sit still until it gets scared fish.
This video low-key freaky, chat. This video
or what
low-key
about
freaky.
a biting my camera because I got too close to her baby's fish?
Oh.
Well, truthfully, it is my dream to add this. The Mandarin Dragonette. Oh, the holy grail for so many people. But sadly, they need a more mature ecosystem, or else they just, our tank just isn't ready, so we need to keep building. But in the meantime, I thought of a fish we can add. Meet the most unlikely duo on the reef, the Yashigobi and pistol shrimp. They are much easier to care for because of their diet and because they have each other. The goby has excellent eyesight but has no hands, while the pistol shrimp is nearly blind but is 50% hands. Alone they are vulnerable, but together they make an incredible team. The goby sits on lookout, keeping an eye out for predators. In exchange for this, the pistol shrimp constructs them a burrow to hide in. This footage is ass because I didn't know he would get to work in 15 seconds. But holy crap, look how cool this is. I pushed a bunch of crap in front of his burrow to show you just how dedicated he is. This burrow is their only shelter from predators. And since they think I'm an albino reef shark, it's really important to keep every entrance clear. Then once he has that done, he can focus on fighting anybody that comes close, even if they are a 180-pound hairless ape. But when the time comes, he better not kill our crown jewel, or anybody else for that matter.
No way.
Yo! For now at least, it seems like he's got his hands full. And I've been working on beautifying my house too.
Ayo.
My landlord has a strict no drill holes in the wall policy, which is annoying because I want to hang some art to cover up the knife holes next to the tank. Luckily, today's sponsor is Displate, a thing that is way cooler than I expected.
Every time with the ads, bro.
Displate. Oh, he's crying. Don't worry, they do 4 to 5 day deliveries. Thank you guys, and back to the show. I'm on a quest to create a tiny slice of paradise in my apartment, and oh boy are things changing fast. Life on land is peaceful. The microfauna population has started to boom, and everyone seems to be doing their job really well. The same is true for the ocean. And every creature is accounted for. Except for one.
What could it be?
Because the pistol shrimp is doing his job a little too well. That's one of his holes he calls a sick-ass door. The pistol shrimp has done such a good job digging tunnels that I have not seen the goby in over a month. But I have a plan to lure him out.
I am so nervous and excited to see these.
We need to add a ditherfish. A ditherfish is any fish that'll be in the open.
A diddlerfish? Hey yo, the diddlerfish.
Tell the more shy fish, hey man, no predators here, you could probably come out. So how about 10 of them? These are Pseudomugil cyanodoralis, and they will gladly spend their days in the open. These fish are what scientists call cutie patooties, and I just hope they won't get eaten by our next creature. I searched for a long time for an animal from this genus, but we were not successful. Not to worry, it's nothing $80 can't fix. Meet my new anemones. Anemones may look like globs of nothingness, but they are actually surprisingly animated. If they don't enjoy the spot you force them to be in, they'll just go ahead and move.
Oh wow, they actually
Anemones
move.
are literally a mouth connected to a giant foot. And that mouth is always hungry.
Sea creatures are so interesting, Chad.
But when the anemone isn't lucky enough to be spoon-fed its meal, it'll rely on this fascinating creature for some sustenance. The porcelain crab. It's a love story you only hear about in movies.
You're home. Oh, you missed it.
The porcelain crab will live inside the anemone for protection. In exchange, the porcelain crab will poo directly into the anemone's mouth to feed it, just like Ma used to make. But the porcelain crab has to catch food without leaving the anemone because the ocean is scary. Luckily, she possesses an incredible adaptation. 2 modified claws designed to catch food out of the water column. And it's her lucky day because I'm about to start a feeding frenzy.
How many animals is this guy ordering?
The Pseudomugils catch on first, and they use their big ol' eyes to spot the food. The porcelain crab catches on too, and she immediately gets to work. But she cannot catch every piece, and chunks of shrimp start falling to the sandbed. This delicious stink doesn't go undetected. The Necarious snails use a nose-like siphon to smell the water.
Oh.
And that delicious stink is their alarm clock. And now fish flakes, the junk food they cannot resist.
They come out of the
and
woodwork.
And this sends the tank into a feeding frenzy.
Huh?
The Necarious snails race to find the meal, but the hermit crabs smell it too. Someone is gonna get this flake, but only one can win. But it seems the creatures have forgotten that there is one meat eater with tunnels that connect the entire tank. And the flake isn't the only thing on the menu.
No. No. What could it be? What could it be?
And I guess one snail isn't enough.
The Merc Squad. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here we go.
And
That's
look who decided to
crazy.
join us.
Hey.
The Yashigobi's murderous boyfriend finally gave him some confidence. For the first time, the ocean side is starting to feel like a real ecosystem.
Yo, the sound
My
design
little
on this
escape
video is
from
crazy.
this.
With the music and
if
everything.
the ecosystem is going to feel like an actual beach, we need more life on land.
The next creature we are adding is part of a cult, a pet care cult. We have to be very careful.
One of these shells is not like the others.
Okay. Oh.
Because one has a little tenant. There he goes. Meet the terrestrial hermit crab. They get much larger than their ocean counterparts. This one is just a baby. You may recognize these crabs as the ones sold into a life of torture, forced to look like Spider-Man their whole life. That terrible care has sparked a very passionate crab keeping community online. And I'll be honest, the last time I kept these guys as pets, I looked like this, and I kept them horribly. So this time, I'm doing it right. Heat, fresh water, more space, no Spider-Man shells, and now we are ready.
Whoa. These guys are pretty cool too.
Meet the Ecuadorian hermit crab.
Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Uh-oh. Oh, you're in the hole.
Active, outgoing, but possibly a menace. On one hand, they are very fun to watch. On the other hand, I'm pretty sure they're gonna trample every plant in the setup. And I was right. The plants are dying, but not because of the hermit crabs. Something much scarier is starting to emerge.
Uh-oh.
Mealybugs. These hitchhikers are a plant keeper's nightmare. They suck the life out of plants. Literally. If we do nothing, every plant in this tank will be dead within a week.
Ooh.
Luckily, we have got the most appropriately named creature of all time. The Mealybug Destroyer.
Hey, yo.
Their main diet...
Is that their actual name? That's insane. Is that their actual name?
And they are hungry. They have no strategy, no subtlety, just tiny savages with one setting. Devour. A little powdered donut with legs never stood a chance against something called Destroyer. They wipe out every last mealybug in a week. And then, with nothing left to eat, the Destroyers die too. A noble sacrifice in our quest for paradise. As the sun sets, something changes. The hermit crabs are restless, clearly searching for something.
How do you get that?
Pacing, digging, climbing.
You're gonna crack your head. Do not fall.
It doesn't take too long for me to figure it out. They want new shells. So I dropped in a few options and waited. At first, nothing happened. Then one day, the Nakey party began. Their shell is literally their house, so they need to inspect it thoroughly.
Come on. You got this, man.
But finally, one makes their move.
Look. It's gonna do it. Oh my god. No way! Yeah.
And then another follows.
Yes. Yes. Yes! Yes! Let's go, dude! Nice!
They got that custom drip, you know what I mean? They got that custom drip.
The third crab shows no interest. but their shell does seem to have a tenant.
What the hell is
Meet
that? Oh,
the
okay,
morning
cool.
gecko. They are one of the most widespread geckos on the planet, partially because their eggs are saltwater tolerant, which means if they hitched a ride on some ocean debris and survived the journey, they could wash up basically anywhere and start a new life. And I think that's what's happening inside of our setup, kind of. These geckos are part of my tiny lesbian gecko army, called that because they kind of clone themselves through a process called parthenogenesis. Many have taken over my apartment and live totally loose, but some have found their way into my beach. They can float.
Really?
But not really swim, so any I find I'm gonna remove.
Alright, sweet girl. Sorry for all the trouble.
But I have a feeling many are here to stay. And they aren't the only unexpected guest. Flatworms.
Oh, nah.
They are small. Here's one next to Big Lois's behind. They are a huge nuisance
Big
to the world
Lois.
because they can steal their resources. There's one right there, eating something. And they can also irritate them directly. But something much worse is killing the corals outright. And I think it's this clove polyp eating.
Hold on, Chad. I
nudibranch.
gotta.
I've actually heard that the Mandarin Dragonette.
We
will
gotta do
eat both
a.
of these
Let's do a
pets.
1 minute ad.
Sadly, they are sold out because I bought the last one. I have waited years for this moment.
No way. No way. What is bro got? What is bro got?
Oh my goodness!
The Mandarin Dragonette.
Alright, little buddy, you ready?
The 25th of our 26 creatures.
Yes, dude. Wow.
I set out on a mission to create myself a little paradise escape, filled with biodiversity and beauty and sand.
Why do you just do that all over the floor, bro?
Anyone who has been to the beach knows that there is nothing better than washing up after.
How's he gonna clean that?
And the
Bruh.
cleaner shrimp is more than happy to help us out. Only supporters on Patreon know why I was okay sticking my dirty feet inside the tank. That, along with 15 minutes of other behind the scenes, I will never be posting publicly. Check it out. Here.
Great video. W video. W video. Okay, well. Let's see. Are there any videos you guys would like to watch? Chat? Are there any videos you guys would like to watch? We can watch some. Let's see. Trying to go through this. We struggle. Oh! You know what? Let's see the wolf one.
Hiya folks, my name is Adam and I like
There
to
we
make
go.
tiny nerdy things, and this video is sponsored by Bandai
There we go,
Namco
chat.
and their new game, Elden Ring Night Rain.
No.
Night Rain is the new 3-player co-op
From
experience
Elden
by
Ring?
From Software where you and two buds play as one of 8 nightfarers traipsing around the ever-changing Limveld countryside looking for less friendly friends to befriend via copious smacks with a slew of fun new weapons. Eventually, of course, you'll come face to face with the fabled Night Lords and probably die. Night Rain is available right now, or rather, it will be in 30 minutes from now when you finish this video. Of course, if I'm making a Night Rain sculpture, then I needed to make something that was extra awesome, and there was one
this
scene
is
in
gonna be
particular that
insane, chat. This is gonna be insane.
tickled my pickle the most in the recent trailers, and it was this fight against a big, 3-headed, sword-swinging good boy named Gladius, which I guess means I need to make a dog. Now, the first step in making any 3-headed hound is building a triple
can't wait.
vertebrae upon
can't
which I
wait.
can create 3 happy snoots. So I'll cut a triplet of equally sized lengths of wire and tape them together, then wrap them in a layer of bodybuilding aluminium foil, separating the heads into their individual positions before covering everything else in a couple layers of foil. With the body bulked up, I can start adding the legs, 4 of which support the front of Gladius, with a more standard 2 in the back for balance. I'll then tilt the tri-tipped tail upwards and reposition the dog heads before swatting this thing off my desk, because this was all a lie. I actually deleted the original footage of making the armature, but I didn't want to start out already admitting I'm bad at my job, so I did a little dramatic reenactment. Fortunately, that seems to be the only footage missing, so from here on out, I promise this is an honest step-by-step, or mostly. With the actual armature sorted out, I can start bulking out Gladius's body in clay, thickening up his back and making sure he, or they, have nice girthy necks before moving on to making my wolf heads. I'll build the beast head by adding some lumpy bits to the top and a goofy soft jaw to the underside that I can then poke and prod into a more lupine look, adding a sharper snout and a more pronounced jawline. Of course, there are three
He's so
heads
skilled,
here, so
chat.
anything I
He's
do
so
to
skilled
one, I
with
need
it.
to make sure I do to all three. One of the more important points of Night Reign is the day-night cycle, which culminates in a choice of a Night Lord boss at the end of the 3-day run, one of which happens to be our boy Gladius here, and being a Night Lord, he has a bit of an affinity for the dark, which is why I made sure that his eyeballs glow
that's
in
cool.
the dark.
Wow.
With
That's
his
a cool
big
touch.
shiny peepers looking perfect, I can then get to work building up the detail of his happy smiling mouth by building up some gums and filling said gums with lots of friendly head-sized teeth. I'll then slip a tongue into each mouth and add a bit of tonguey detail, but before I can go any further, I need to make his sword. You see, Gladius is swinging a big sword which I just now realized might be a literal Gladius, which he holds in his mouth when he isn't hurling it across the field at an unsuspecting hero. I'm going to have him burying the blade in the sand, throwing out gouts of fire though, which means I need to make at least like 60% of the sword, so I have something to hand off to one of the heads. So once I've cut and carved the shape and sanded it sharp, I can add a hilt, cleaning up the design so it mimics what's in game before baking it all again, at which point I can remove the handle from the hilt, so I can feed it to Gladius's center head without having to worry about the rest of the sword flopping around while I work. With that though, I've got the general shape of these dogs done, which means I can start the inferring process, which, in the interest of keeping you interested, I've edited down from roughly 4 hours to just over 12 seconds. However, if you want to watch
Damn.
this sort of thing in real
4
time, you
hours
can
for
always
12
watch me through
seconds?
my window. Also, before I can properly finish the inferring process, I'm gonna need to cover the legs in clay to be furred, but before I can do that, I need to finish the 6 furless feet.
Is he gonna put,
complete
like,
with a
actual
full
fur?
complement of 24 toenails. With the feet looking positively fine, I can finally add the fur to the legs, building up the shape of the legs and blending the clay into the torso, which I've baked at this point to
It
protect
looks like a
the
rat at
already
this point, you know
added
what I
fur
mean? A
detail.
3-headed rat.
Then it's back to the inferring, blending the otherwise smooth, hairless legs into the pre-existing furred body. To help give the fur a bit more depth and make it look a bit more raggedy and lupine, I'll add some little blobs around the knees and on the backs of the legs, as well as strategically placed along the chin and anywhere else I think Gladius could do with a bit more scruff. I'll add some extra long wormy dealies to his back leading up to the top of each head, as well as along the body in semi-random spots before blending it in and fluffing it up. Some final pinching with some sharp tweezers will add that last bit of detail before moving on to making his spooky masks. To ensure the masks have
That's
a
a lot of
form-fitting fit
detail,
that fits
chat.
the form of each face, I'll coat the heads in a couple layers of separator, which, once it's cured, will let me sculpt the bone masks directly on top of the already cured clay of the face. Once the masks have been baked, I can peel them safely off the snouts and clean up any of the clay that's snuck between the fur before drilling some teeny tiny holes in the top of the masks so I can fit some fine armature wire in that will allow me to make some scraggly horns.
This is a
protruding from the
lot
back
of
the
work, Chad.
mask.
This is a lot
I'll cover the
of
wire
work.
with some of the same bone-colored clay I used for the rest of the mask, but before I can reattach said masks, I need to drill some holes in the side of the heads so I can make the wavy fur of the wolf's mane that's tucked under each mask. I'll wrap these rods in some more clay so I can smooth it back and fluff it up so it looks like the long flowing hair rather than the short fur of the body. Then I can press the masks down onto the still soft clay to get a final perfectly fit. Then it's back to the back where I can wrap the rest of the exposed tail wire in a bit more clay and texture this similarly to the flowing hair of the mane. With that, this Tri-Wolf Mega Boss is fully built and ready for a coat of paint. I'll remove the skull caps from the wolf heads and set them aside for now while I coat the fur coat with a fur coat colored brownish blackish color before gently stippling some reds haphazardly around the body where our good boy has a bit of a skin condition. I'll then follow this up with a copious amount of dry brushing with some grays and bone whites to help all that furry texture stand out a touch. Then I can paint all the toenails a charcoal black before heading to the mouths, which will get a couple coats of reds and pinks, while the teeth get a few coats of sepia wash, wiping away any of the excess on the tips. Back to the boneheads, they've already got a pretty good dirty bone white base coat, so I'll just give them an all-over wash with a heavy sepia to add plenty of shading and discoloration.
Look at that,
and I can reattach them in their corresponding
it just pops out.
lupine
The eyes pop
locations.
out now.
A last bit of gloss varnish to make the mouth shine, then I'm on to painting Gladius's Gladius, which gets a solid black base coat with a charcoal sponged on top for added texture, before breaking out my shiny gold to add lots of swirls and filigree and fancy gold symbols. Finally, once the sword is looking adequately ostentatious, I can give the whole thing a sponging with some more gold to add a bit of messy, shiny texture. Then I'm on to making the not at all ridiculous chain that Gladius uses to swing his weapon about. I can't help but feel this chain was designed by someone who had a copy-paste tool at their disposal, since each link involves a non-zero amount of fine
this is
tuning.
gonna be
I ended up
so
making my chain by
tedious,
twisting some teeny tiny armature wire into an appropriate shape, smooshing it flat, then connecting it to another link, before repeating this roughly 10,000 more times to make my full-length, game-accurate chain. This chain, of course, needs to be connected to the hilt of the sword so Gladius can swing it about as he pleases, and I need to give the chain a bit of weathering, which I can do by blasting it in several passes with some darker metallic shades before stippling on a bit of rust. Finally, I can fit the hilt into Gladius's mouth and wrap the chain about his body, but with that, this tri-headed good boy is finally built, which means I need to make some heroes.
This is so
Bit of quick
intricate,
math
chat.
at the old mathing station meant my little heroes need to be roughly 50 millimeters tall, or for my American viewers, that same amount but in equivalent inches. At this scale, my normal mini armature wire is a bit too flimsy, so instead I'm going to use some paper clips since it's significantly sturdier, and it also means that I can claim paper clips as a tax write-off. Once I've marked out the hip and knee bends, I can bend the wire into a proper position for the first of my heroes before mounting the paperclip on a block of wood and wrapping it in an initial layer of epoxy putty. The putty is much stickier than clay, so it'll hold onto the wire a lot better, and it'll cure by itself, so I can add a layer of clay over top to make the rest of the mini. And while I wait for the green stuff underneath to cure, I'll do the same thing for the other two torso-less hero legs. Otherwise, once the green stuff is cured, I can start building up the first of my heroes, Wilder. I'll start by wrapping his boots in a thin strip of cotton string, building up the top of the boot before wrapping his torso in a long trench coat-esque jacket. I'll then stab a little length of wire through his torso and bend the wire into the position for his arms as he's sprinting towards his destiny, and I can coat the wire in a thin layer of clay, blending it into the body. Using the knurling on my sculpting tool, I can add a bit of texture before building out the armor plate on his upper chest, cutting and carving what little detail these shaky hands can competently add, before I can start wrapping his waist in several little wormy dealies to build up the majority of his belt. With the belt in place, I can add his shoulder pads, of which the left one is built in several layers, while the right one is a bit more simplistic in its design. To make the detailed bit of his vambrace, I pre-baked some thin sheets that I could cut to the correct shape and attach to the model, then wrap in some more clay, poking a little extra detail into the top. Before I go any further, though, I need to
That reminds me too, Chad. We gotta finish up the Gundam.
A tiny shield for him to hold, which I'll make by cutting a tiny circle out of a sheet of clay and adding just a tiny bit of detail to the front. And while I'm at it, I may as well make his sword as well, since I'll need that at some point too. With the shield baked, I can press it into some sticky tack so I can sculpt a closed fist onto the backside, which I figured is probably easier than trying to do so directly onto the model. This way I could just attach the whole shield onto the arm and blend it in.
This is just one model. It has two more to go.
I'm just about ready to make his helmeted head, but I want to create the surrounding surface first, so I'll add some little strips down the shoulder and down the back to make his tattered
I hope this guy gets paid
as
well
as what I can only assume is a fancy fantasy shawl. Then it's on to making his head. The head was truly the most frustrating part of this entire process, and what you see here is really only the first of probably 6 attempts, the last of which ended up being fine. It's fine. It's okay. I don't hate it. At first I was under the impression that making a helmet would be less frustrating than making a face, but for some reason I could not, for the life of me, get it to look like what I wanted. And when I finally did manage it, it was about 50% too large and I had to try again. Regardless, at some point I did manage to make something semi-acceptable so I could press that into place, then fit the sword in place now that I've added a hilt and plenty of weathering and pitting along the blade, and I can build his little hand holding the sword, and that's 1 hero down, 2 to go. My second hero is of course the Archer aka Iron Eye, as we're going for the holy trinity of dungeon delvers, the sword and board guy, the Archer, and the Bird Man. Iron Eye has a bit less going on and I think the design reads a bit better, but that's probably because I don't think I need to make nearly as much stuff to make it look right. I'm not saying I'm lazy, I'm just saying my love of character design can be pretty heavily affected by just how much detail I have to recreate. With his boots and pants built, I can cover his torso in a strapless summer dress, then poke it with a flat, chopped down stir stick to create the layered plates of his armor using a smaller stir stick to create the squares. Then I'll wrap his torso in a teeny tiny string belt before building up his shoulder plate and his little fists, which will be pulling the string of a massive bow taut. I can clean up his gloves, then wrap the left fist with the base of the bow before building up the base of his cape, starting with the best head of the 3 heroes, a faceless cowled hood. This gets the same squares and rectangles texturing, then I'll drape a cape over his back, fit it to his form, and poke it with my stir sticks. A little noodle draped over his shoulder will allow me to attach a smaller bow that I built from a smooshed armature wire as well as an oversized quiver, and I can make some teeny tiny feathers by pinching some super fine armature wire with my pliers. These little feathers can get fit into the opening of his hood, and I can get on to making that aforementioned oversized bow. I've made a top-heavy clay parentheses that I can wrap a bit of wire around to create a bow being pulled taut, then I'll wrap a center brace around the center before bracing it with more clay and adding some wrapping around the middle. Finally, to make my oversized arrows, I'll take a little sheet of aluminium mesh and cut it down to a single set of diamonds in a row that can be glued onto a teeny tiny length of wire, which I'll then drop into the quiver before adding a slightly longer one to my archer's fingers and along the bow, which I've added to the base that I sculpted to his hand earlier. With that, we are 2 down and just the Birdman
That's
left.
insane.
The Birdman, also known as Guardian, is, I think, the most intriguing of the heroes because he's a bird, and I happen to be a big fan of birds. In fact, I think my neighbors hate me because the first thing I did when I moved in was set up bird feeders to attract all the pigeons in the neighborhood, and now they've flocked to our home singing the cooing song of their people at all hours of the day. Once I've built the underlying tattered and torn outfit, I can set him aside and build his battle axe, starting with the head that I'll make in much the same manner as the shield, cutting the shape out of a little circle before baking it and gluing it onto a length of wire so I can sand it into a slightly sharper miniature poleaxe. I love that the bird character chose the axe with feathers, so I made sure to include them in the sculpt. Then once I've added a bit more filigree and detail, I can bake it while I add some armature wire to Guardian's upper torso and bend those arms into an overhead swing that I can then wrap around the handle of the axe. With the axe in place, I can start to wrap the arms in clay, building the hands directly onto the handle, adding furry bird texture to the arms before adding his vambraces. I can then build up the torso plates before breaking out some more of that miniature aluminium mesh to cut out some larger sections that will work as the web-like armor plates that Guardian wears in lieu of larger, chunkier, and presumably heavier armor. Once I've added a longer strip around his waist, I can get on to making his head, which is appropriately an eagle head, and it ended up being both satisfying and simple to make, at least when compared to Wilder's helmet. This head only took 2 tries before I made it the correct size. A little poking and pulling with a ball stylus will add the feathery texture to the head, and I can press it down onto the top of the torso before adding some little shoulder pads. By wrapping the mesh around a ball stylus, I can get a nice rounded plate that will wrap around the shoulder. Then once I've built up the big chest plate on Guardian's chest, I can add the final shoulder plate and any of the remaining metal bits, as well as some feathers sticking out his butt. Guardian isn't wearing boots because birds don't wear boots, so I need to make some talons instead, and to keep them from being too flat, I'll sculpt them out of green stuff using a ball stylus. Green stuff is like a plastic when it cures, so it should be a bit more robust than clay. And once it's had 24 hours to cure, I can peel it off the ball, clean up the excess, then attach them to the legs. I made some teeny tiny talons to stick onto the tips of the bird toes, then a bit of cleanup to blend it all together, and I can set Guardian aside while I make his wings. To make said wings, I've made a wavy clay form and coated it in non-stick separator so I can press a thin sheet of clay onto the surface and cut out the shape of the wing using an appropriately sized stencil. Then with the stencil removed, I'll start marking out the feathers by cutting steps into the wings, working my way from one side to the other, pushing and pulling until I've got some nice rounded, feathery looking lumps that I can then start adding the feathery detail onto. Once I've got the first layer of the wing built, I'll add a second layer on top of that and do the same wing thing before baking it and peeling it off the block so I can attach a mounting wire along the top and cover the backside in a very thin layer of clay into which I can carve some more feathers. Finally, with the front and back built up, I can add the top layer of feathers flopping over both sides, then I can bake it and repeat this entire process to make a second wing before attaching them to Guardian's back. And with that, the Birdman is built and ready to be added to his fellow trio of heroes, meaning that it's time to paint these guys, which I can do by priming them black, followed by a heavy zenithal highlighting with white, which should, I hope, make it a little bit easier to paint these guys. Now, being a creature of habit, I'll go back to the first hero and start there by painting Wilder's coat blue and his boots and belt and cape a couple coats of dark brown. I'll then tackle the metal bits of his armor with some steel. Then I can paint the wood of his shield brown with lighter brown streaks so it looks a bit more woody, before adding some weathered blue on top. I'll then move on to painting the finer details of his surcoat, adding the white trim around the bottom and along the skirt, as well as the design running down the center and along the sides up to the middle. Finally, in lieu of all the filigree that I didn't want to try sculpting, I'll add that in by painting over the metal with some darker metallics and swirly motions to try and mimic the look. The majority of Iron Eye is in green, so I'll base coat his body armor, hood, and cape in a dark green, then paint his boots, pants, and quiver black and brown, before painting the big bow with a mahogany. The few metallic bits he has will get a steel top coat, and I'll paint the string of the bow with a khaki striped in a watery brown, while the strings of the bow can get some pale beige.
Again, a lot of detail.
Finally, Guardian's sporting a mostly dirty white outfit, while his chicken legs are black. I'll paint his furry torso and head brown and do the same for his belt, then I'll give the wings a brown wet blended with a gray to create a dark to light gradient. While the wings are drying, I'll give the various metallic bits of his armor a silver and steel top coat, doing the same thing for his battle axe before going back to his wings to give them a dry brushing with some light gray and off-white to pick out the sharper edges. Finally, I can paint his beak and eyes a muted yellow and add a touch of black to the tip of his beak before coming back with a darker metallic to add a bit of filigree to his armor in much the same way I did as Wilder. And just like that, in the space of 11.5 minutes, I've sculpted and painted 3 completely unique 50mm miniatures from start to finish. And that's just a taste of what you'll get when you subscribe to North of the Border. I'm not saying it's good, and I'm not saying it's educational. I'm certainly not saying it's satisfactory. But it is fast. Otherwise, all that's left to do then is make a base. I have this leftover lump of extra thick XPS foam that's just about the perfect size for what will become our sandy battle scene, so all I need to do now is cut it down to size. In a perfect world, I'd have one of them hot wire foam cutter knife things, but I don't, so I'll just have to make do with this sketchy Stanley knife the builders left here by accident.
Oh.
I'll saw the edges to roughly the width I want, then I can start cutting grids into the top of the foam, making slightly more angled cuts as I go until all the pieces start to fall out on their own. To harden up the surface and melt away some of the rougher cuts, I'll blast the top with my heat gun, then I can coat the surface in an initial layer of hole filler, which I've found can actually be used to effectively fill holes. The whole filler and foam's still a bit weak, so to prime it and protect it, I'll mix up some wood glue, black paint, and a bit of water to make a thick black tar that I can use to coat the entire foam block. Then once that's had a chance to properly dry, it's time to make some sand. This is sand-colored tile grout, and it's perfect. At this scale, normal sand is way too granular and ends up looking like rock, whereas this stuff is so fine that you can feel it coating the inside of your lungs and turning to cement the second you start breathing.
Oof.
I'll mix it up as per the directions I never bother reading, then I can slap it onto my foam base, spreading it out to cover every bit of the surface. Once it's neatly spread, I'll use the spatula to add little sandy waves into the top, and I can leave it for 24 hours to dry. With a nice solid base, I can figure out where Gladius is going to be standing, so I can add some more sandy grout beneath his feet in the surrounding area. Then I'll dab at that with a paper towel to create the churned up sand where he's been stomping around, as well as add the furrow of pushed away sand where he swiped his sword through the earth. Once that started to set, I can fit Gladius back in place and press his feet into the sand, as well as fit the sword into the furrow, building it up a bit more around the base of the sword. This will hold the sword in place, but I can still remove Gladius so I can give the sand a bit of extra color. This grout is a perfectly fine color, but I want to add a bit of variation to the sand, so I'll blast it with a slightly darker color from two sides, catching the dunes to create some shadows. Then I'll drill some holes into the grout around the sword and slip some lengths of acrylic rod down into them. A bit of heat from the hot gun will let me bend the rods into slightly wavy, flamey shapes, which I can use as the supports for the big gouts of hot glue fire I want to build.
Let me just snooze the
Once
ads.
I've covered the rods in glue, I'll poke and prod the still melty glue to create some natural looking flamey licks. Then I can add a few more little fires in the surrounding area before using my masking putty and plenty of masking tape to tape off everything that I don't want covered in fluorescent paints. Then I'll work my way along the flames, base coating with a bright fluorescent yellow to set the base tones before coming back with some oranges and reds to add the highlights and fire appropriate variation. With my flames looking absolutely fire, I can peel the tape away and remove the masking putty to reveal my unblemished sand below. This of course needs some spooky glow-in-the-dark swirls as well, so I'll stand the base on its side and use the airbrush to add lots of swirls and spots and bits of fluorescent orange and yellow. Now with the base done, the last thing to do is make a big ethereal banner. I want the banner to be invisible except for the glowing orange filigree, so I'll mark out the shape of my banner on this thin sheet of acrylic, then cut off the excess. I can then peel away the plastic coating and set the banner on a white background so I can actually see what I'm doing, while I use some fluorescent orange to add the pattern to the banner in much the same way I did to make the golden filigree on Gladius's sword. To hang the banner, I'll make a stand by connecting some acrylic rod with UV resin, creating the rope with invisible fishing line, holding it all in place with more UV resin. A couple blobs on the tips will give the rod some shape, and I can attach the banner to the rod and create the little tassels hanging off the side of the banner by dripping UV resin over some tightly wound fishing line. I bent the banner with a little heat from the heat gun to make it look like it's blowing in the wind, and I can paint all the edges of the clear acrylic rod and fishing line with more fluorescent paint to help it glow in the dark. Finally, with that last puzzle piece in place, I can start assembling the scene, putting Gladius in place and adding a bit of clear tacky glue to his mouth so he's extra drooly. Then I can fit Iron Eye to the side, Wilder running up the front, and Guardian leaping off to the side. To make Guardian fly, I'll remove him from his base and cut away the wire so I can mount him on some acrylic rod. However, while making Guardian, I was using this reference photo, not realizing that hidden behind that big old shield is a little wonky wing. So I had to do a little emergency scalpel surgery to cut away and reposition the wing so it's appropriately bendy and broken, otherwise he can get mounted on his rod in the back, and we can finally fit that banner in the background, and that's us done here and onto the glamour shots.
Damn. Wow. I can't believe these are miniatures, chat. I can't believe it. Not at all. Let me fast forward a bit. Oh my god, it's so badass. It's so badass. Okay, let's see the full thing. Ooh.
Big ol' thank you to Bandai Namco for sponsoring this video. Elden Ring Night Rain is out right now, so make sure you follow the link in the description below so you and 2 friends can see this big 3-headed good boy for yourself. And probably subsequently get eaten.
Okay, well, chat. There we go, that's the video. Yeah, I'm getting kind of sleepy, so I think I will end it here. Thank you all for being here. I love you guys as always. I will see you guys next week. Again, new song is out, Bad Day. And the collab applications for the album, they're up there on the pinned comment. You know, follow me here, follow me on Blue Sky, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. I'm gonna post updates. Tomorrow's video short I might not do. I might do later in the day, but that's okay. I'm gonna still do it. But Yeah. With that being said, I love you guys. I will see you next week. I will update y'all on the schedule next week. Take care of yourselves. Thank you for being here with me. It was hella fun. We had a lot of good videos, good times, you know. But yeah. Take care, chat. Take care. Bye. I will see you next week. Bye.